If you had a job where you come to work and people clap for you, it would change your entire mood.
We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Or you can grow a conscience in the next 5 minutes and see where that takes you.
Don't this hit make my people wanna stop? Don't this hit make my people wanna stop? Don't this hit make my people wanna stop?
Watch the series finale of X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your local listing.
What the hell going on?
Oh, we heard tale of a party. Gangnam Style. Op on Gangnam Style.
There can be only one magical Negro.
Como les dije que llama que buena baila usted a la vuelta papi otra vez llegó el negro de.
It won't take long when there's a song to help you set the pace.
Howling holler from the heart.
This is pathetic.
Where we used to live.
Life could be worse.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Ai, menina, vida, chega aí. Ai, menina, vida, chega aí. Vai, quebra, tema, vai. Menina, chega aí. Vai, olha, danado. Eita! Vai.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down.
I'm bag of pixie dust. Contraband.
They're going to do the Mary Poppins thing. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Magic mirror on the wall. The fairest one of all.
Oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
I get it. I'm not persecuted. I'm just an ass.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, of course, bringing you that spice when it comes to sci-fi and pop culture analysis, and always keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And speaking of keeping it real, welcome to the Spice Lounge, where we give you that hot conversation, spicy takes, always unfiltered, never paid for unless you give me coffee when it comes to what is going on out here in these pop culture streets. Now, there's a lot, but only certain things that get to make it onto the Spice Lounge show because, wow, do we have a packed show. Netflix has scored another huge, and I cannot emphasize this enough, huge anime win. And when I tell you about it, you're probably going to say, well, how come this didn't happen sooner? We are talking about that. And we are also talking about some folks really up in their feelings about the juggernaut of a movie called Sinners, which went from not being paid attention to by some folks in the anti-woke culture warrior nonsense to dismissing it, to mocking it, to outright attacking it. But hey, it's going to win because it is the most nominated movie or film for the Oscars in history. We're going to talk about that and talk about why some folks are so butthurt and salty about that. So we're going to talk about that. And we are also going to be talking about, what is it? Oh, yeah, the live action He-Man trailer dropped. So, we're going to talk about that. But more importantly, we're going to talk about the news that dropped last week that Kathleen Kennedy finally is, quote unquote, retiring. But it looks like she, is it cloned herself or the cell multiplied, because she's got 2 successors, supposedly. But rather than me speculating about it and spitballing about it, I've got 2 people on my show tonight. Amazing, amazing friends who love film, who love television, who call the bikes balls and strikes as they are and are in that machine. So, folks, please do welcome to the show some of my great friends here in this pop culture space. We have got Kamer Pasha and we have got author Douglas A. Burton. How are you gentlemen doing?
Awesome.
Doing great. It's been way too long. I've been on your channel in at least a few months, Lorena.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we're fixing that.
But we're fixing that. And this is going to be an exciting year. I hope to come on more this year.
And this stream spans America. We've got Florida, Texas, and California here.
Yeah.
And I used to live in California a long time ago. That's when I always sigh when I hear about what's happened with Santa Monica, because man, I spent lots of time chilling in Santa Monica. That was like a childhood dream of mine. Moved to California, get to hang out in Samo and woo, yeah. But
then you saw how the hot dog is made.
Yes, I saw how the hot, I saw it. And folks are like, can it really be that bad? I'm like, look, when I finally left LA, had it in my rearview mirror and moved back east, I could not watch television. I couldn't watch a movie. I couldn't look at any of those, gossip rags at the counter to check out, because I lived that. And in LA for the longest time. But you know what? It was a childhood dream and I fulfilled it, and I got lots of stories to tell. So
that counts. That counts for something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's see who we've got here in the chat before we get moving. I see you guys out there on X. I see you guys on Twitter. Please do retweet this out on X and heart. Please do thumbs up over here on YouTube, of course. And definitely subscribe to these fine gentlemen sporting the bearded look going on. The salt and pepper. It's very nice.
Yeah,
very nice. I kid you not, right? So
the salt gets more than the pepper as it goes.
That's okay.
I discover the ladies seem to like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Case in point, I was in the supermarket and I'm turning around to leave, and I bump into this gentleman, very handsome. He's got a salt and pepper beard, salt and pepper hair. I'm just like, I'm sorry, I forgot my name for like a couple seconds. I was like, thank you for making my day.
That's awesome.
Well, let's see who we have got in here before we pull this pop culture train out the station. Of course, we've got one of my amazing mods who has been with me for, since I started the channel. Soul Assassin, telling people, please be sure to smash the like and share the stream out. Mm-hmm. Definitely check out Comrade's Patreon, which I need to re-up to. So many darn things.
We'd love you back. I know you were on for a bit and then you had to go, but we'd love you back. There's a lot of really interesting comments now. I'm learning so much from the people that are commenting now.
Oh, cool.
Our community is really important.
I need to get back to the party. And of course, make sure you follow Douglas A. Burton over on,
thank you.
I keep calling it Twitter. X, you know what I mean. And YouTube as well.
It's still Twitter.
Yeah, it's always gonna be. Hey, Charles. Charles is here. It says Douglas and I follow each other. That is awesome.
Now, Charles, you and I have not interacted before, I think. but I've already had some chat discussion with you because I know you've expressed a very passionate opinion. Things are not going to get better. I know my good friend OG Star Wars shares that opinion. She's in the chat. I'd like to at least point in another direction. Maybe I can change that opinion.
Y'all are gonna love me. I'm just saying. Also, once again, I shouldn't apologize. YouTube, you need to fix your stuff. I don't know what you're doing on my channel, but everybody's got names and everything right now, so they will not fix it for me. Hey, Barryon, how you doing? How you doing? They're just freeing KK up to be the next Disney CEO. No.
That won't happen.
So we have to now start bringing the fandom back to reality. We've had several years of all roads lead to the sequels, several years of this woman is going to be in cryogenic freeze, ruling Lucasfilm for 3 centuries. We've had several years of this, and now it's time to start coming to reality. I know it's not going to be fun. It's easy to be angry and sad all the time. I want to see
there is a
hope.
Agreed. There is a 0% chance that she takes over Disney. Just zero.
Zero. Do you know how much money she has pissed away?
14 billion.
No, she's not.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that because I got an inside scoop from my insider that it was that the actual losses are 14 billion, and then Douglas did an analysis that showed that's right. And we're going to talk
math
about
tracked.
Yeah,
we're
she's
going to get there.
She's not allowed in the C-suite. Besides, Mr. Skinny Jeans, Josh D'Amaro, is going to be the next Disney CEO.
They shouldn't even let her near an ATM at this point.
The conversation will be where she stands, where Miss Kennedy stands, and the evidence of how the industry has rejected her. We're going to bring the actual evidences of where the industry stands with regard to her and and her future.
Exactly. Because it's time to come back down to reality, y'all. Hey, Shinotsky says Spice Girl. Thank you. I freaking love the Spice Girls. I'm telling you. I love the Spice Girls. So for real. USS Cushing. It certainly looks like Disney has grown desperate enough to abandon Kennedy's vision. We're going to be talking about that later on. Hey, Kiss My Grits says, hey, Spice Lounge. Hello, my dear. Good to see you. And Jonathan, yes, I am definitely out of range down here in Florida. I saw the storm. It's kind of weird kind of way that it looks, but not down here. Although by Tuesday, the temperatures are going to drop, and yet again, falling iguana warnings from the cold. Yeah,
it's going to get cold here in Texas starting Saturday. And they don't have any infrastructure out here to melt the ice like they had. Like, I'm from Chicago originally, and they can melt the ice, but in Texas, if it gets icy roads, it stays that way until the temperatures come up.
They have the infrastructure, my friend. We're going to do the conspiracy episode of HARP and the HARP weather machines one day. We'll do that when we're all ready for some X-Files stuff. Okay, they got the technology.
You know what? They need to just do the what is it? Kitty litter. Okay, it doesn't melt ice, but it will get you traction. All right, just saying, it'll get you there. Laugh all you want. That's the backup up north. There's no salt. The store sells out of salt. Ice melt. The kitty litter starts. It's so true. Hey, Dylan, good to see you. I saw my girl Erica in the chat as well. I see OG Star Wars in here as well. Let's see who else we got. Anonymous, hello. Says, dang, you're looking fine. Well, thank you.
That's me second and third back here. I said that before she came on screen.
Thank you. Unlike some women, I like a compliment on my looks. I'm not gonna like.
Not all women.
Did you hear what they said today?
I think that the myth is like, there's a myth that's like considered rude. It's not.
No, it's not. I mean, true story. It's so funny. These stories are coming to me. So I was at Disney once. I was at the contemporary resort, going up to the California Grill, right? And nice older cast member, brings down the elevator, pushes the button, and says, "Watch your step getting in, sweetie." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much." And these two very young Caucasian women are just like, "Did you hear what he said to me?" I said, "He could have called you a lot worse things. I don't see why you're upset about." Sometimes I get like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's the phenomenon that we've called the angry white woman. Its origins come from the deep South and plantation culture and the white woman that ran it all and benefited from it all. That's another conversation. That's a part of the origins of this unique psychological aspect of white female culture in America comes from that, in my opinion.
You are so right, Cameron, because if you look up the history of Creoles in the Americas, that is where the Black codes came from, because you had certain, especially women, Creole women who were independently wealthy, some of them who got wealth from their French or their English or their Spanish fathers, and that would compete usually with white women who didn't have that much of a dowry. So look it up. I am not making it up. That is 100% true. 100% true. Let's see.
There's a reason that the great American novel is Gone with the Wind, because Scarlett O'Hara is predecessor of this archetype, right? And she's essentially Margaret Mitchell when she was young. Margaret Mitchell is self-aware enough to portray herself as that person. That's what she was, right? And so that's the defining, and it is my favorite novel. That is the defining novel of American culture.
Yeah, I've read the novel twice. I love it, and it really shows her as flawed. Like, she's a clearly flawed, character, and they really lean into that, which I appreciate. I like when they do that.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so wonderful is that Mitchell just portrays her as she herself was as a younger woman, with no excuse. This is what it is, and this is the chaos it causes. But it's also the spirit that allows you to survive the end of a civilization.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you ever read the novel, I developed a theory that Han Solo is based off Rhett Butler. There's language in the novel that's exact from Empire Strikes Back. I was like, he's a smuggler. Oh my God, this is the Han Solo.
Well, because he's an archetype. I think we can admit Han Solo, Rhett Butler, Errol Flynn, they represent the archetype of the sexy rebel, which I think is a primordial thing that women are attracted to.
Well, he's a nonconformist. Right. These are non-conforming male characters, and that appeals to a lot of heroines who are struggling with their culture.
Good. Okay. Well, yeah. Besides the shoot 'em up games that I like to play, there's a certain Otome game that I like to play called Love in Deep Space. They actually had a banner recently where it looked better than anything Disney Star Wars had ever done, and all of it was blatantly obvious that's what they ripped it off of. And the most popular character in that game, his card, straight up Han Solo. I kid you not. down to how he walked, down to how he spoke, down to how he acted. Yes. So let's just say
the scoundrel is a sexual archetype. And
it actually 100% is.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now you know.
No,
do not come to the studio.
Something's happening.
I have a brand new kitten.
Bring the kitten on. I love cats.
His name is Stitch. He will probably come down here eventually. I adopted him about 3 weeks ago.
You say. He's a cat.
And he's a ginger cat, so he's definitely not.
Couldn't care less.
But I always wind up with ginger cats. Stay up there. Now he'll come down here eventually. But yes, this is Stitch. Thanks to you guys, he's doing very well. He was not doing very well around Christmas. He was very sick. He was rescued from a home that had over 80 cats.
Wow.
That were there, and he was only 5 months old. So yeah, he was real sick. I had to give him plenty of antibiotics and water and all that other stuff, but he not only bounced back, but he is all over the place. And for all my viewers, you all know this is Professor X's bed. So yeah, that means he's tolerating his presence. Let's put it that way.
When you say Stitch was in a house of 80 cats, was this a homeowner with 80 cats? Is this like the archetypal cat lady that's gone insane?
Yes.
That's
Mama
terrible.
Luna?
Yes. Mama Luna, but without the care that Mama Luna gives, because she seems to always know where all the cats are, which is why she was recommended, because it's like she has this big huge casita and all the cats are so well taken care of. You know, it's like they don't want to leave. Hoarder House, they collect, instead of collecting like people collect things, hoarders collect animals.
Yeah, but that's horrible. That's a living thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's newspapers from 1960 piled up, but this is something else.
It's really, really sad. He was scared. I mean, he didn't mind coming home with me, but he was very scared and took him a while. So being in a house with all those cats and you don't know which cats are threatening you or not, he meets Professor X, and the first thing he does is just like puffs his back out. You hear this like whine, like little like, don't come near me. And Professor X is like, that's cute. I'll slap you around later. And he just walked
But it's heartwarming. They're kind of friends now, so it's heartwarming.
Yes. So he now has someone to, keep him company and sneak in his bed when it's like, no, I don't want to share people. Just orange cat things. Yes. Like last week when I showed you, he was climbing up the room divider. I have like a Shoji screen and he's climbing up it. Professor X is looking at him like, you really are weird. For real. Oh my gosh. Hey, Aldo, good seeing you. My editor, thank you so very, very, very much, folks. If you've been seeing the shorts and, the videos, Aldo's been editing those. So thank you. He's been doing a bang up job because I suck at editing. Let me tell you. I know where I'm good at. I know where I'm not good at, and I'm good at subcontracting. So, hey, Stunt Rep. Okay, so let's get to some news here. To the news here, we're going to go through a couple of quick shot topics to keep you informed. Coming to us from Netflix and MAPPA strengthen strategic partnership aiming to co-create a world-class animation studio model. Y'all need to fix that typo. Take that typo down there. Are you gentlemen aware of exactly who Studio MAPPA is?
I am not. I have followed the rise of anime and manga into American markets and Western markets over the last, I'd say, 10 years. As our stuff has been declining, their stuff has been going up. And so I know that it's getting real hot. K-pop Demon Hunters came from this tradition. So anyway, yeah, I know that it's on the rise and this is getting a lot of attention, but I don't know too much specific about MAPPA itself.
Cameron, have you heard of MAPPA before?
I'm sad. My niece will know everything about it because she's a huge anime fan. I mean, she's like, she literally taught herself Japanese from YouTube. She's like, my niece was like college age, taught herself Japanese so that she could enjoy manga and anime better because she wanted to be, get the culture directly. And so yes, I sadly know nothing about it. I probably should because Hollywood is slowly accepting that this is the future, even if an entire generation has already mapped this future out, right? Yes, you talk about Hollywood is always 10 years behind culture.
Yeah. And hey, Chelsea Chan, yes, K-pop Demon Hunters, love it. Yes, I loved it. Golden came on like Spotify, and myself and Camera Girl are singing it like at the same time. That movie is something else. And if anything, it truly proved that Netflix partnering with that particular studio, I forget what studio it was in-house, them partnering with that, major major ratings. So there's lots of hey Chelsea Chan, sorry, I'm saying it. There's so much anime that is on Netflix. I watch a ton of anime.
Well, and K-pop Demon Hunters was on the Nielsen ratings for like months in the top 10 overall. It was really astounding what they did, and those songs were everywhere for a while. And by the way, Golden got nominated for an Oscar. So don't be surprised if it wins. It's incredible.
It's one of those where it's going to be between that and I Lied to You by Miles Can. That's a tough one right there. It's just like which one do you pick? They are both absolute bangers, for different reasons.
That whole sequence that's filmed around I Lied to You, which is one of the most unique and amazing film sequences I think of all time. It made me think that they need to have an Oscar for sequences because there's just I've never seen anything like it, right? It's 3 or 4 minutes of a movie, but you're like, you could just clip this out and teach us in film school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And which movie is that?
Sinners. That's the
Sinners.
That's the
yeah.
When time bends because of his music.
Mm-hmm. Just one of the most amazing shots that is not easy to pull off, and they managed to do it. But we're back to Sinners.
It was a oneer.
Yeah,
it was a one shot. The whole thing's
one
a one
shot.
Yeah, I had an emotional reaction to the scene, and I realized I was witnessing like excellence, and I love that when it happens.
Yeah, it's go see it in IMAX for real. I'm not kidding. That scene in IMAX just anyway. For those who do not know who Mappa is, if you have ever watched the last 2 seasons of Attack on Titan, if you watch Jujutsu Kaisen, and my favorite, Chainsaw Man, that is Mappa. If it's blood, Mappa is usually the studio that does it, and they are so intense and precise with how they render anime. That's why that particular animation house is so famous. They burned people out, but the product, you cannot. You're amazed. It's just like, is it CGI or is it hand drawn? Which is it? When you're watching it, there's a couple of scenes where you can tell they use it more as like a tool for certain angles that they can't get. But these 3 are the top for Mappa. So usually when you hear Mappa, you're like, it's going to be amazing. It's comparable with I won't say comparable. Mappa is the GOAT. Let's put it that way. They are all the way up there. The ones that do Demon Slayer. That's Ufotable. That's another one. Another Studio Trigger. They did Cyberpunk 2017, Wit Productions, which does a lot of them as well. Madhouse, which did Death Note, I believe. But either way, Netflix making this deal with the anime studio.
So is Mappa Japan?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was Japanese, and it seems like anime, and there's a certain storytelling style to it that it's really hard to not like. The storytelling, the animation. When I do watch anime, it does suck you in. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Most anime, if I don't like it, it's a personal preference, and it doesn't have anything to do with the quality of the story or any or anything like that. For the most part, it's a good time to watch. Hollywood should have given an animated Oscar nom to Demon Slayer versus Elio. Elio got nominated.
It did. And it shouldn't have. Me and my son, he didn't know anything about the stuff, anything else. He's just like, let's watch this. So I did, and he lost interest in it. So the animation wasn't that great, or meaning composition wise, like the way the scenes were set up on screen, and he lost interest into it. And he's the target market, and he was unaffected by any positive or negative spin. He knew nothing about it, and just didn't. So yeah, it probably shouldn't have been nominated.
Yeah, but they're probably like, yep, we gotta throw one to Disney. Here you go. We'll put Alien in there. Yeah, Zootopia 2. I said, okay, I haven't seen it yet, but that thing has made enough money where I heard the second one was good. I liked the first one. I really enjoyed the first one, especially the sloths at the DMV. That scene is
classic
perfection. Absolute perfection. So we're going to move on from Studio Mappa to something that I am so crazily excited about. Make fun of me all you want. I grew up watching He-Man, and then there was She-Ra.
Yeah.
Right after that, I think Thundercats was before that, but I always came on at the end of Thundercats for some reason. I always missed that. But He-Man, Masters of the Universe, I freaking loved it. I did not miss an episode. Yes, I was a girl who actually liked it, which is why it pissed me off with what they did with, the Kevin Smith version
of
it. I did, and again, you cannot call me sexist for not liking Teela in that. I didn't. That was not Teela. I don't know who that chick was, but it certainly was not.
And Kevin Smith had embraced the subversion of expectations garbage that was going on, at the time, right? I think
embraced.
I think we've seen with Mr. Smith. He's a very talented guy. He kind of is like a lot of Hollywood. He goes wherever he thinks the wind is blowing. And when the wind started blowing in another direction, now he's in that direction, right? And so, can you fault him? Maybe, but pretty much everyone in this town that's a survivor just bends with the wind, unlike me, which is why I'm the tree that keeps getting knocked down, has to get back up, right? I won't bend with the wind, right?
So Lorena, you were big into He-Man. Cameron, did you watch He-Man a lot when you were younger?
It would come on right after school. So right after I walked home from elementary school, we put on there, and it was great, and the animation was fun, and what I actually loved was the teleportation portal. I was always mesmerized by that. What they would step into the portal and come out somewhere else, right? In the golden portal, and then they would always have the Skeletor giving his life lessons in the commercials, right? Like Skeletor would be the voice of wisdom in the commercials. It's this bizarre thing where Skeletor would come and teach kids.
It again.
And you're like, why is not He-Man, right? Why is not Teela? Why is not these people teaching us like the moral lesson a day? But Skeletor, that was sort of self-aware fun of it.
Yeah. I watched He-Man. I liked He-Man, but I never got personally invested in it. So it was the kind of show that was on. So every time I'd go to like one of my friends' house to play, they were watching He-Man. So I spent a lot of time watching He-Man at other people's houses. And everybody that I knew had that Castle of Grayskull. Everyone that opened up and you had the figure. But I personally never, and it wasn't that I didn't like He-Man. I just never bought any figures or the castle. I just never got into it.
I had the lunchbox.
Nice.
You didn't have Castle Gray. They had Castle Grayskull, which I want to say is analogous to having like the USS Flag aircraft carrier from G.I. Joe. That's like analogous to having the Barbie Dream House. Yeah. Those types of things, the swords, the outfits, the action figures, everything, which is why, and I have not seen this yet. I wanted to save it so you guys could get a reaction.
Wait, so you haven't seen the trailer? You haven't seen the trailer?
I purposely did not see the trailer. I wanted to save the trailer because let's see the interesting thing about X, because it really is just like freaking peanut gallery. This sucks. This isn't He-Man. The movie sucks.
Yeah,
I don't like this.
About that. I think that at this point a lot of people are just in rejection mode, and it's gone past the level of being upset with something to gone past the level of a broken record. It's got to a weird mentally ill place where it's like you're invested in everything being terrible, even when it isn't, and it isn't. And it's just at this point that's a form of like mental illness. Like you're enjoying being contrarian because your identity is locked into it.
It's like it's to the
Yeah, you're
point where
closed
it's like-
off to critical thinking.
Exactly. It's like old man yells at cloud, you know. I think the Simpsons were
that was always going to be. That's why I desperately tried to get people off of what I call the black pill thinking, which is everything sucks. Lucasfilm sucks. This sucks. It can't be fixed. It can never be fixed. I'm like, well, maybe you can't fix it because you don't have that level of vision. But I work in an industry where there are people that do want to make good stuff, even though you don't believe they do. They really do. They're just trapped in a political industry, and they keep trying to make good stuff in it. And then political winds change, and then suddenly they get their moment. And then you don't celebrate their moment. Well, at some point the audience will, and you're just left on the island by yourself saying,
Yeah, it's just like, you know what?
Well, you have to be for something. You know, you can't just be against something. You have to be for something first and against something for, second, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So let's do this.
So let's do this. I have to get a little bit, so I don't get copyright claim. But here we go.
All right.
Let's see. Can I do that? Okay. Well, that was long.
All that stuff that only exists in legend.
Is that the Oh my God. That's
You're just seeing this is all fan service. Everything you remember from the 80s is in this.
Oh my gosh. I'm freaking out already.
Bedtime stories, talking tigers, spaceships, and magic swords.
Yeah, there was a spaceship from Man-at-Arms spaceship. Yeah, you see Castle Grayskull.
Castle Grayskull looks real good.
It does look good. And this looks good. You got to get the sword right.
Like a man
they got it
as
right.
Mighty as a god.
That's the sword right.
Where I come from, that stuff is real.
And he actually looks, whoever they picked. For He-Man
he bulks up as this trailer continues. You'll see he bulks up and becomes more and more He-Man as the trailer continues.
Okay, because that was my thing. It was just like, if you just keep him, skinny, and it doesn't work, because it's not like he was like super skinny. He was still, kind of bulk, when it's Prince form, but when he turned into He-Man, hey, it's MMA fighter.
Yeah, it's bodybuilder strength.
Real.
That's interesting.
What?
Oh, this looks so good.
Did you send me away?
I wanted you to be safe.
Whoever they got as the queen, she looks spot on.
Mm-hmm.
I did not even blink.
Yeah.
She looks amazing.
Got the jawline and everything.
I wanted you to be safe. So I sent you to a place I knew that they'd never find you.
And this is great. And this, and there will be people like, oh, look, it's going to be a woke movie. This is the joke. This is the joke that He-Man is forced to degrade himself like this in order to hide on the silly, pathetic planet.
You know what?
As a joke for He-Man?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because it cracks me up that even in professional circles, and I think I told you guys this story, there's this like push to, oh, what are your pronouns? I'm like, why the heck do I have to give my pronouns? And there's like, oh, here's a section where you can use your pronouns. I'm like, I'm not trying to use my pronouns. And I remember being in some kind of it was just job placement thing. It was not freaking worth it. So the person who was running it, obviously a complete total Karen, but she was Canadian, so I don't know what you call a Canadian Karen. Karen, I don't know. But anyway, somebody puts a note in the chat about, well, on LinkedIn, should I set my pronouns? And I said, because I can just be evil sometimes, don't care. I said, you shouldn't put in pronouns if you're not comfortable doing it.
Ooh. Back then, that was dangerous.
Canadian Karen saw it, and it's just like, what, she had like a Windows EXE error or something like that, because she could not recover whatsoever. It just said, oh, well, LinkedIn recommends that you do it. I said, no, it doesn't. It just puts them there so you could use it. LinkedIn doesn't recommend that you have to use pronouns. She did not freaking recover. So, folks, I get it. But don't be in such a hurry to spurge out, to crash out, because there's a pronoun in there. Even when you see in my intro, okay, with Keegan Michael Key, when he's just like, maybe it's not because I'm gay. Maybe it's because I'm an a-hole. Go watch that skit.
Well,
seriously,
my own experience with this kind of stuff was, again, this is out, by the way. I know people don't believe it, but this pronouns are out. Nobody uses them in Hollywood anymore. I mean, they're embarrassing now, as they never were going to be, right? People don't do it. But at the height of this, which is about 4 or 5 years ago, at the height of this, I remember one, I will not name him, but let's just say he has an Oscar nomination. And he just getting better in the following scene. Okay. Don't give us spoilers, FL Dog. Don't give us spoilers.
Oh my gosh.
So, but yeah, so it was on a screenwriters chat board where I shared a story of how a funny story of how I was like, went to some Muslim writers group where I thought it was all gonna be Hollywood Muslim writers. We're all like religious, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon everything. So I introduced Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. How wonderful it is to talk to you. Actually, hold on. I'm going to tell you the story. You go on. I got a call I got to take. I'm going to tell you why in a second. Hold on. I'm going to take this call. Forgive me.
Okay. No worries. Let's see. Let's keep going here.
This obsession with nerd stuff and sword things.
Obsession with nerd stuff and sword things. Shoot, that's a good date right there. I'm just saying. Just saying. And oh my gosh, why do they have the? I shouldn't laugh, but why I got the bald chick? Okay, anyway.
It's not a good look for human resources.
How can I help? Have you seen the sword? Here's why I like this. Okay. You bring it into modern time with something like this. You're not really going online to get an email that said that somebody found something. You get this notification on your phone because you're attached to your phone.
Right.
And you get a message like this, like, I found your sword. And the background, okay, on his phone is the other thing. That just, I freak out stuff like this.
I know it sounds crazy, but that sword is gonna show me the way home.
Wow. So is he in the memorabilia shop?
Looks like a comic shop. Yeah, memorabilia, figurines.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. But it would in a way kind of make sense. Especially if someone collects props and stuff like that. Like, oh, this looks like a cool prop. And turns out it's not exactly a prop.
But that sword is gonna show me the way home.
Sir, you can't do that.
Interesting. So they're going. That's more humor style angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, oh, you think he's just gonna, and the sword's gonna come out and there's angels are gonna sing. It's like, no, sorry. Just
anticlimactic.
Not gonna work. Look closely and you can see Lion-O from Thundercats in the background.
Oh my God, Lion.
I put some detail into this.
Don't worry.
Cool.
The sword's mine.
I don't think she bought it. I don't think she bought it.
That's pure Grayskull right there.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
And the title sequence as well. When saying this summer, looking at like how, it's got like that antique patina on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Tower of Grayskull, there was a drawbridge leading up to it, just like this, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is so
Hang on, it's about to go.
We just saw Sorceress, didn't we?
Who is that actress?
Hang on.
I don't know her name.
She might be new.
I haven't seen her in anything before. I can't remember her name. the actress's name. It's not coming to me. But I haven't seen her in anything before.
She got weird.
That's supposed to be Tila.
Okay, Tila, Camelia Mendez
Oh, okay.
is the actress. I don't know who that is.
She was on CW's Riverdale.
Oh,
Okay,
Riverdale.
I the only thing I watched on the CW was the new Lois and Clark show.
Oh yeah,
than
that
that-
was actually good.
That was good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only thing I ever watched on the CW. I thought it was going to get worse, but no, they stuck the landing. with
Yeah, that was
one.
unexpectedly good. I had such low expectations on it.
And I'm loving the statue. And there's the crew.
Where's the cat? Okay, who are the two on the left side? Who are those two?
Now we've got Man at Arms, played by Idris Elba.
Okay.
Idris Elba, I have to have an estrogen pass on that. If it's Idris Elba, Morris Chestnut, or Jason Momoa, I don't care what the plot is. I don't care. I do not care.
You are allowed that, Lorena.
I'm honest with how shallow I can be.
Hey, we've
no.
all got that in us. There's no shame in it.
Exactly. Yes, we got Roboto all the way to the left. We got Man at Arms. It looks like he's got sort of the same helmet from Suicide Squad.
All right.
Then, of course, we got Prince Adam.
Prince Adam looking
And
good.
Tila, now, correct me if I'm wrong. She looks exactly like the figure right there. Is that right?
Well, she's got the costume, right? She's shorter. Tila was redheaded and taller, right? But, look, I like this actress. I loved Riverdale.
Okay.
That was my guilty pleasure. That's my guilty pleasure. She's bulked up for it. She's a wonderful actress. So I'm going to give her a shot with this.
Okay.
Though I have one minor nit. I won't say minor. The costuming thing. Tila had like a bodysuit.
Yes.
She didn't have the onesie.
Well,
on. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I'll allow it.
80s leotards.
Yes.
It's all good.
It's like I will
spandex
notice.
all the way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's but it is what it is. Again, I'm gonna give her a pass. Did you ever watch a Riverdale, Lorena? Did you ever show that show?
No, I've never watched Riverdale.
It's actually a fun, crazy, silly, sexy show. It's worth it. It's just fun. It gets crazier with each season, but I really enjoyed it, and it's really well cast.
Yeah.
The cast is incredible, and they're given ridiculous scenarios, and they get through it, right? So, Camilla, she's just shown in that show. She was just a discovery. So that's why, because if people aren't familiar with her acting skills, watch that show. I think you'll be delighted.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Yes, I'm a sucker for go-go boots. I really am. That's my thing. I love it. Go-go boots and hot pants. I have to. I love those. Cringer looks like Cringer.
Yeah.
I'll say that, even though it's he's CGI, but it does. I'm not offended at what I see. It's actually giving me some really good vibes. It's giving me Saturday morning cartoon after school vibes, honestly. Oh, that was a lot of blood.
and you notice already he's getting bulkier. See, he's getting bigger.
Yeah.
So
I like
what they're doing. Again, I don't know, haven't seen the movie, but just in the trailer, it looks like he starts off as a guy that's been kind of emasculated on Earth. That's the journey, right? He's this magical hero who's been emasculated, the he/him pronoun being lectured, right? And then his body is changing as he finds the power.
Okay. Yeah, he does look bigger.
Yeah, I think this is intentional.
And
I
she
think
does have red hair there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
So give red hair. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm just like, give her red hair.
On a practical level, we're just talking Hollywood economics. She's Latina. She's a Latina actress. They want Latinos buying tickets. So there are going to be a lot of Latinos being cast in formerly Anglo roles. That's just the future you're all going to have to get ready for because that's economics.
And there's some Latinos who have red hair.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And there's people like Anya Taylor-Joy, right, who are Anglo is Anglo looking, but are Latino is Latino, right?
Yep, because I have several in my family. Anyway. Idris looks good.
Little arena there.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Look, he's getting bigger, but what I love, this is earnestly embracing the camp. It's just
you should
about it. It's just this is the world. The funny thing is actually the comedy in the trailer is how silly Earth is. It's not this world that's silly.
To do.
Jared Leto as Skeletor. Now, I will say they got the eyes right.
Yeah,
but does he have the attitude
that maniacal
to go with it? Does he have that? Is Evil Lynn in here constantly giving him crap, making him, just like, yeah, you're going to screw up again. What was that? Oh, nothing.
Again, I've shared the story. Have I shared the story, Lorena, of the only time I've ever met Jared Leto? I've shared that story with you, have I?
I don't think you have. No.
Douglas, have you know this story?
I think I did hear you share it, but
I'll make it very brief because I'm sure it's because I'm sure there's a lot of fans for a variety of reasons don't like Jared Leto, right? His politics is whatever, this and that. There's a lot of reasons. I can only speak to the one time I met him. And I got it was some years ago. I got it was actually in the first Trump administration. I got an invite from my manager saying, "You've been invited to Jared Leto's house." I'm like, "Is this real? Is this actually a joke?" He's like, "No, you've been personally invited to Jared Leto's house. He's doing sort of a fundraiser for some, it was sort of some human rights fundraiser, right?" And it was, and so I was like, and for whatever reason, his team chose you and asked you to come. I came and went there, and so he's got this very interesting artistic home that used to be an army barracks up in the hills, an actual army barracks that he's converted into his house. Right. So it's sort of interesting artistic that way. Right. Come in and, and it is celebrity filled. It's like we're talking about Katy Perry is there, Jessica Alba is there. And I was like, what's happening here? I mean, I'm used to hanging out that way. I was like, all right, this is really, I'm just in a mansion of a movie star with like Katy Perry. Right? And Jessica Alba, she's still looking good. Right? And so, and I go there and I'm just like, and I'm just trying to mingle. He very graciously, Mr. Leto just comes up and very graciously welcomes me to his house, right? So but then he goes up, mingles, and it's a Hollywood mingle thing. So I'm like trying to mingle with these like stars, trying to be myself, right? And I won't name it, but let's just say there was one famous actress there who was kind of really rude. Like, we were in a circle of people talking, and she would talk to everyone except me because I think she realized I wasn't famous, right? Of course, who I wasn't famous, right? The others were all like this guy, that guy is an athlete, whatever. And so I tried to engage her politely, and she was literally physically like this, like she didn't want to talk to me. She was being like, the others were kind of nice, and she was being like offensive, like, it was a Regina George moment, like how dare you even
like, get away,
right? And I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to leave her alone. She obviously doesn't want to engage me. Jared Leto saw that. I saw him looking and watching how she was talking or not talking to me. He comes, I saw him come from across the room, comes in, enters into our circle, and immediately starts engaging me and talking to me like I'm the most important person in that circle. And
oh, wow. Yeah.
Nice. The others in that little group immediately start engaging me too, because the host is doing that, right? And then this woman remained the way she was, stoic and like unimpressed. But he went out of his way because he saw a guest feeling uncomfortable and embarrassed.
That's a great host.
Yeah, whatever flaws any of you may find with him, I can only share that he was an incredibly gracious host who saved me from embarrassment, had no reason to. And I will always honor him for that.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's him being a good host, man, and caring across the board about it.
Yeah, it says something that whatever else he may have, he doesn't have that Hollywood arrogance of you're beneath me. And that's rare.
Yeah. There's so many of them like that. Oh my God.
Take the sword. Protect them.
Okay, the sound the sword makes when he
Oh,
takes
yeah.
it out. He's got to say the line. You got to say the line. Say the line. I forget which one that dude was. I'm forgetting dude's name. I know it'll hit me later on. For some reason, I can't recall. Evil Lynn. Who is the actress who's playing Evil Lynn?
I don't know. We can look her up.
I hope
She looks good. She looks good.
Thank you, Beast Man. Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm like, I know who that is. Yes, your girl actually watched the show. All right.
Cast.
I'm not making it up. I actually watched the show.
Alison Brie. Alison Brie.
Alison Brie. Okay.
Very
Okay.
lovely actress. And she's playing Evil Lynn.
She better nail it. I hope she nails it.
And Morena Baccarin is a sorceress. I mean, this is good. He's a good actor.
Oh, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. Of course, that's cringe. Well, he's not quite Battle Cat until he's got the saddle and the helmet on. So that's why I keep calling him Cringer, because he hasn't transformed into Battle Cat yet. You know. Stay in line.
Here we go.
Stay in line.
I have the
There you go. That's dope.
And now he's He-Man. Now
That's
we're watching
dope.
the transformation.
We're rolling this one back. And it's not the Sailor Moon transformation that was in the Kevin Smith version. Oh my gosh.
Sailor Moon.
What did they do to my boy? If you've ever watched Sailor Moon or any magical girl transformation in anime, right? It's like you have to show off the outfit and all the lights and all the pieces that come into place. It's a very involved scene. It's a very involved, very feminine scene. Okay, it's showing off all the parts and everything, including everything else. They did that to my boy with the sword. Like literally, the music sounded like it was from Sailor Moon. And
oh wow,
He-Man's transformation is something that's extremely masculine. It is something that boys who were hooked on the show, that was the line. He had to say the line. You were waiting for him to say the line every single show. All right. And if you ever go back and watch, I think was it on Netflix, called The Toys That Made Us? And they had this whole section about He-Man. And when they were talking about the transformation scene where he says, I have the power, and they kept doing clips between all these guys around the world saying the line in their native languages. It was the coolest freaking thing ever. And they nailed it.
I have the power!
Back at Castle Grayskull.
I mean, that's the ultimate, like, when you're playing as a kid, that's like the ultimate phrase. You can do it with a stick, an umbrella, it doesn't matter.
You just had to have the.
We all did this. Like with my ruler.
We
all stood there and did this. It's like we played with our lightsaber twigs. We just did this. I have the power. We all did this.
Completely.
And now a new generation. My little 8-year-old nephew is going to be doing this.
And this looks like just like the line, just like the clip in the cartoon when they run the beginning sequence. And you see him do it, just same
like
pose.
Bird. I mean, everything is so carefully crafted to honor the cartoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Not insult you like Kevin Smith's version. No, I will never let that go. No, I will never.
Making that for whoever's boss was at the time.
Never let that go. If you don't believe me, go back on my channel and look for all the videos that I did with her, because both she and I used to watch He-Man all the time. We're even bigger She-Ra fans. Okay, so
wow.
Yeah, go back and watch exactly just how freaking pissed off. Sound effects are down.
The
Oh
sounds
my
are
gosh.
authentic.
The sound effects are on point. That's outfit.
Do that.
Hmm?
It feels like they just took the cartoon and told the sound designer just do that.
Absolutely. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's what the fan service is. I mean, say what you want about the Minecraft movie. Okay. Say what you want about that. They knew who their fans were, and that's who they catered to, and that's why that movie made such a crap ton of money.
You know what, Lorena? I agree. The note I wrote was this gives me a little bit of a Minecraft vibe. The way they're positioning it to be brand authentic rather than movie realistic. You know what I'm saying? They went through that phase where they were trying to make it movie realistic and it didn't quite translate. But it seems like the secret sauce and cracking the code for video adaptations or cartoon is that authenticity, that brand authenticity, and like the sound, that like almost 8-bit sound of the sword throwing out, like that's embedded in your brain, you know?
Exactly, because you have that callback to, yeah, I remember, that as a kid, even the Super Mario Bros. Movie, that movie when it came out, all right, packed theaters. I was in a 3D showing and it was packed. And the opening where they're running out to their job and they're playing No Sleep Till Brooklyn. And they're running and doing stuff. It is literally a side scroller of the original game. And Camera Girl's like, why are you laughing so hard? I said, they got the sound. They're playing the Beastie Boys, No Sleep Till Brooklyn. They're going up and down the ladders, and then, they hit the Mount Bean pole. It's all the sounds, everything. That's what makes it authentic.
Yeah.
So makes it authentic. And that's what it is. The trailer, and this is what some people just don't really understand about movie trailers. The trailer's job is to get you to put out the money to go see the movie.
Correct.
Regardless of if it's great or if it totally sucks. That's what the trailer's job is to do. You got some trailers that are just, they do nothing for you. It's like, I don't want to spend money. And then you get some trailers where it's like, shut up and take my money,
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, let's start with Lorena. I think so what do you think, Lorena?
Oh, let me see what else is left in here.
Yeah, there might be a few seconds.
We got a few seconds left.
Yeah, there's a little bit left. Yeah, this is the culmination.
Looks good.
That looks like Skeletor.
He's got the scepter right. Got that. Forgot about that.
So He-Man fight.
That looks good. Yeah, I'm putting out the money to go see it.
Yeah.
I'm putting out the money to go see it. It hits all those nostalgic things for me. It's just like, remember after school, I get to watch He-Man, I get to watch She-Ra. This is such a callback to the 80s. And if you think that this is a gimmick, yes, it is.
Yeah.
But Stranger Things' complete gimmick is ripping off of the 80s.
Well, but the thing is, this is a love letter. At least what we've seen so far. I mean, we still have to see the movie.
Right.
This is a love letter to the show, and more importantly, to the 80s. As someone who believes the 80s is the greatest pinnacle of human creativity, right? Beyond the Renaissance, I think 80s is the best music, movies, television, of all time, fashion. I think 80s is the height of Western civilization. It just goes down from there. It is really embracing the joy of that.
Absolutely. Just the fun, the camp, all of that. Doug, your last thoughts on this?
So, I am not as into He-Man as I think you and Cameron are. Like I said, I'm I'm not against He-Man. I wasn't as invested in it. My honest opinion is I'm split on it because I don't get the same reaction. I think that you were getting into some of the lore that was on screen, but I could tell, like, the Castle Grayskull looked exactly how I remember it. The Skeletor looked exactly how I remember it. The negatives for me is I do think the he-him will turn people off. I think that will be misunderstood if it is a joke. And when I do think about it, I do think it might be a joke. He's got a pronoun in his name, He-Man.
It is a joke because the next moment is him being, pummeled by this stereotypical HR worker. The He-Man, the master of the universe, is being humiliated by this Karen, which is the mockery of where culture has devolved to.
Well, I see what you're saying, and I agree. The tone is to laugh about this, and usually that messaging isn't to be laughed at. So, it might be a joke. So I could see it, but I could see that turning people off. I think the CGI was a little, what's that word? Like where the sunlight, it looks inauthentic sometimes. It's a little like that. And He-Man looks small to me. He still looks small. Now, Cameron, you're telling me that you're making a case that maybe he gets bigger as it goes. And that would be very good for the screen. The idea that an ordinary man turns into this, kind of like Captain America. Steve Rogers starts little and then gets big.
I mean, just go off the trailer. That's what it looks like. He's just a guy. He's just a guy that could be a California surfer working HR at the beginning, right? We just look at some of these screenshots, and then his body gets bigger, and then he's pretty buff with the sword.
He's just sitting there, just like
those were just the negatives. Those were like the three negatives that I was thinking when I was watching it. The positives, though, are it does have a good tone. So it does leave open in my mind that this might be a fun movie to watch. It does have authenticity to it, which is a big deal. Usually what Hollywood's temptation usually is to change it, to do something different with it, to make it theirs. And they didn't do that. They really did lean into the He-Man from the 80s, the look and feel. So that is there. And I do think the way this is being marketed, I could tell just by what you're saying, Lorena, this is absolutely appealing to the older generation, the Gen X. But I can see my kids watching this and being interested in it because of that, like I said, the Minecraft vibe, the kind of wacky, fun humor inside of a different older franchise. So I think they're actually simultaneously marketing to younger kids and older fans that are passionate about it. So I think that is going for it. And then thirdly, word of mouth, if this is the fun ride that you guys are kind of making me think it might be, then word of mouth is going to get around and this film will do very well.
Yeah. One thing I want to get to, and before I kiss my girls, I see your super chat. Thank you so much. I'm going to get to that in a minute. I do want to address this really quick. Yes. And honestly, it's up to you. It really is. Case in point. Okay. Remember when the trailer for Blue Beetle came out?
Yeah, the Batman line.
And there was the Batman thing about Batman's a fascist. And I'm just like, okay, where's the context for that? Right. And that did really turn me off. And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Is this a case of someone editing the trailer to purposely piss people off?
Yeah.
Or, and if that it was, then you really did the film a disservice because that's really not what it was about at all. If they really would have got a clip from the beginning of the film, because the uncle, he's paranoid about everything because he used to be, I think, in military or special forces. He like somebody brought up then a bouquet of flowers with the little balloon on the stick, and he popped it, and they're like, "Why'd you do that?" He said, "It might have a bug in it." Now that is actually funny that most people can latch onto, but that's what they put in the trailer. So yes, for some people, him is going to be a turn off, but it's just like, look, you have to make a decision. Are you going to be perpetually offended? If you are, okay, that's fine. You can take your money and walk. All right. Or can you take a joke?
Right.
And this is kind of what irritates me. It's like people have forgot whether you've been beaten down or what. I get it. But you make a conscious choice to either roll over or just say screw that nonsense.
Well, and there's probably going to be a second trailer, right?
More than likely, yes. Because this is
so. When
first
does this
one.
come out?
This came out today.
No. When does the movie come out?
The movie comes out in June.
Oh, in June. Okay, so there'll be at least another trailer. So they have this is their leadoff trailer.
Yes.
If that is a joke, then I think trailer number 2 will resolve that. My thing is, because I think you just mentioned something that's important to mention. I have seen this happen multiple times where they write an article about a movie or something that they write it up as if it's ultra woke or like really, leaning into that. And then the movie comes out, it has nothing to do with that. So there is this sort of weird thing that happens sometimes. But if this is good, I think word of mouth will do wonders for this film, especially if that is a joke,
Absolutely. Well, we got this super chat from Kiss My Grits, dude. Thank you so much for the $20. Let me hit you up.
I know you want the goodies. Welcome to the goodie room.
Yes, indeed. This is the goodie room here. Thank you so much for the $20. Says the Masters of the Universe trailer already has over 20 million views across the main Amazon, YouTube, and X accounts. So don't let anyone tell you that an audience for He-Man doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
Eat your heart out, Kevin Feige and James Gunn. Yet,
well said.
Very much so. Absolutely. Absolutely. The premiere for the new Star Trek Academy series on YouTube didn't even hit that.
Well, if anything, they're making the almost opposite point that the audience that we're told doesn't exist, this trailer might be saying we disagree. If Cameron is right, and this is a critique on nerfed America, and then he has to go find his manhood, so to say, in this the alternate universe. Well, then that's a critique of that. So the audience does exist, and now that you just put that stat, that certainly reinforces that case.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Honestly, it really is time for it to stop freaking being offended on every freaking thing. Really. Yeah. That's just me, but honestly, I am getting kind of tired of it.
Yeah, well, these
you get it, but it's just like eventually you kind of get tired of the old man yelling at the cloud, and it's like, okay, grandma, here, let's go take your meds.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. There is a knee-jerk reaction to these things, and that's what I'm pointing out is that will create a knee-jerk reaction. It's almost inevitable. But what I also believe that the strength of the film will overpower that. I think if this is a good film, then that is not going to have any impact on this in the end.
Exactly. So we're going to move on from Masters of the Universe. I am excited from what I'm seeing from the first trailers that are coming out. I like the feels that it's hitting. I like how authentic it actually that it feels. If you think authentic sounds do not matter, see how much the Super Mario Brothers movie made and Minecraft. Just saying.
Well, you've moved the needle for me. I was pure neutral, and I would say that your enthusiasm for it, as a genuine fan, it moves me from neutral to leaning into it a little bit. So,
well, here's something else to remember. I was excited about the Barbie trailer, and then came out of that movie beyond pissed off. So.
Oh, that was the exact opposite. I was completely not interested. Not interested at all, and then I ended up liking the movie. So I was the exact opposite on that.
Good to see you, Osvaldo Lopez. Good to see you. And we've got Going Shogi. If He-Man was your jam growing up, I get the anger. People are sick of it. Here's the thing. Not everybody is. You have the people who are sick of it and always complain that they're sick of it. And then you have the people who are just like, you know what, whatever. That really does not change my life.
Well, I do like the principle, the give it a chance principle is a good one to adopt these days, because there was a time where it wasn't worth giving these movies a chance. Everything that was coming out was authentically bad, objectively bad stuff. But there is an attempt to reverse that, and there is good stuff coming out. So, I am on board with the give it a chance. And if you're a fan and you're saying you see a lot that you like, then that principle is well and good here. Give it a chance before
Well,
Totally turning off on it.
speaking of things of giving it a chance, and yeah, we'll get to Kathleen Kennedy. We'll get to that. This is one of those give it a chance kind of things. So Sinners, and this is posted by Discussing Film. I'm quite excited about this here. If I can get this back. Okay, so Sinners has broken history as the most nominated film of all time at the Oscars with 16 nominations. Now, let me preface this by saying I was not interested in this film when it came out.
Oh.
I wasn't interested really in the trailer. It didn't. It was kind of I don't know.
That's the example. The trailer left me uninterested, Lorena, and that was an example of bad marketing. And I think it was done on purpose because I don't think Warner Brothers was backing this movie and they didn't care. They didn't realize what was going to happen.
I agree because you had Variety, and I would, you know what?
Yes.
I got to tell you, Variety, I will never let you forget the fact that you said that this movie was not going to make any money, that it would barely make its budget back, and you poo-pooed the heck out of this film. And it wound up making a crazy ass amount of money. But to get back,
$500 million.
I wasn't gonna watch it. Yeah, I wasn't gonna watch it. And then, Mark from the Dark Council was like, you need to go and see this movie because we have constantly heard in these, Hollywood is trash, nothing else is good out there. How come, you have to race swap characters? How come you can't have a film with original stories? Okay, this is an original story with original Black characters that were in it. And it just got poo-pooed in so many circles. No, it's underrated. No, it's overrated.
Not just Variety, the New York Times.
Yes, all of them.
That first weekend said this is a failure and a disaster.
Totally wrong.
Totally wrong. Because if you think I'm making this stuff up, okay, so this is the numbers, and we use the numbers a lot on this channel. Sinners 2025 grossed $279,989,632.
Is that domestic? I think international brings it up to almost 400 million.
Yeah, I think international is bigger.
This is domestic. And the thing that happened with Sinners, this is how it works. Hollywood wasn't talking about it. They were talking about, I think, like one battle after another, which is freaking god awful. I refuse to watch that film. No one was talking about it. You heard nothing the first weekend. The second weekend had the biggest rebound of any film because word of mouth got out about Sinners. Because that's what happened. Because I wasn't going to watch it, and then I went to see it the next week. My theater was freaking packed. Word of mouth got out. You couldn't barely get a seat in certain showings to see.
IMAX was completely sold out. I couldn't get into IMAX until its second IMAX run.
Wow. Yeah. So my story was slightly different. I actually was semi-intrigued by the trailer, but iffy. I couldn't get a read on it. I didn't know really which way it was going to go. My wife was the one that was instantly, she's like, we got to see that one. I was like, okay. And I liked it immediately.
As it was Stack. It was Stack that said, "That's a good woman." That's a good woman. Very good woman, Douglas.
Yeah, she picked it out right away, and we liked it immediately. And I was early on when this was controversial, because it was controversial then, and it's funny that it's coming out controversial now that it's being recognized as good. But I came out early on to say, no, this is a great film. The criticism, I think, in my opinion, is unfounded. And I feel like the criticism starting back up. And again, I feel like it's unfounded.
It is.
Again, the issue is it's people will never admit it. But the issue is that it's a Black filmmaker making a Black authentic movie with Black empowered men and with some white people that happen to be villains that were Ku Klux Klan people. So, you can't make them villains apparently, because that's somehow, disrespectful to white people. I mean, people are not willing to say that a lot of their issues are that because they're not willing to face that that's what's happening.
It's a lazy argument. So it's a lazy argument to say that this is woke because it's got African American leads. So first off, then you're saying that no story should ever have that. If that's your definition of it, that you can't have a non-white lead character or a female, then you can't have those movies. Then you're being just the same as DEI in reverse. You're the exact opposite, and that's just as bad. I don't like those kind of benchmarks. I think storytelling needs to be its own thing. Now, just to be on the record, I am against woke filmmaking or storytelling, I should say. But that word is so elastic now that it means something different for everybody. And that's part of the problem that's dogging a great movie like this, is that people are misinterpreting what woke is. And so they're pegging this with something that I think is completely unfair. And I have more to say on that, Lorena, what I mentioned backstage, if or when you want me to get into that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to save that for another stream, because that sounds
okay.
so
Fair
good for what you have, and I don't want to start.
I'd like to be in that stream. I'd like to be in that stream because what Douglas shared so intrigues me that I want to be part of that, and I want to put that out to my Patreon because I think it's a very important conversation. But today we'll focus on these things. But as soon as possible, let's focus on what Douglas has been talking about.
Absolutely, because there's deeper things to go into with this film, and like this is one criticism, not to point you out, Soul Assassin, because I've heard this, because people are like, oh, it's a clone of From Dusk Till Dawn. Okay, so it's like, if you're going to say that, then you can also, by the same token, say that the Hateful Eight is a clone of the Magnificent Seven. You could say that George Lucas's Star Wars films are a clone of Kurosawa's films. I mean, people borrow concepts all the time. So I'm glad that you liked it, and I'm not like dumping on you. I'm not, but you make a good point with that, because people tend to say that, and I'm like, okay, if you say that it's a shot for shot like From Dusk Till Dawn, either you did not watch the film, you did not understand the film, you didn't understand the differences between inspiration and a straight out duplicate, because if it was a clone, this movie would not have made this much money at all.
And honestly, the setting in Mississippi, I think it was Mississippi Deep South. Is that right?
Mississippi Delta, yes, where my family is from.
Totally. That setting, and this is another reason why I commend the film, was a character in the film. Whenever the setting becomes its own character, you're going to immerse me into your world. So even if there's, you could say, similarities in, let's say, Dusk Till Dawn, that is not a part of Dusk Till Dawn at all. That's something that only this film delivered. And it really pulled you into that. Like, you are in another time and place when you're watching this film.
You totally are.
And the commentary and the social commentary of what life was like, in this open segregation world, and the fact that this segregation did not just apply to blacks. Irish were the exiles. They were black to the people doing the system. The Irish were not white. And that's why the Irish vampire who's got an agenda of egalitarianism, which you've never seen. I don't see that in Dusk Till Dawn. I never seen anything like that before.
That was the thing that just like cracked up, because what you saw in the Delta, some people, let's face it, some people get uncomfortable when racial issues are discussed. Like, I've heard someone say, I'm not going to say it was, on Twitter, say, well, if I don't need to watch this movie so I can have a racial lecture. I'm like, okay, well, then that means you didn't understand what was going on, and maybe you need that racial lecture. Smoke and Stack were two black men who already in the Deep South, the Delta Deep South, second-class citizens. They go and fight for this country. The Delta has nothing to offer them. They start working for Al Capone. Okay, make a ton of money, come back. I'm like, where did they get that car from? Oh, okay, that's why. Because they went up north, and a lot of black people left the South around that time because of the Ku Klux Klan to go up north for better life. But it's like, it's the devil, and the devil, and the devil that you don't,
in the movie
that they don't know. And that's exactly it. You've got this guy, the Irish vampire. He's like, I just want to hear good music, and the speech that he makes. Just like, I just want us to all be together, one happy family. I'm like, dang, that is it right there.
They love the music.
They love the music.
And that part of this is so I saw the director speak a few weeks ago here in LA. It was really, Ryan Coogler spoke, and it was really an amazing thing to have him at the screening at the DGA, and he said that this movie was born from an uncle who got him into blues music when he was a kid. He was into blues music, and then his uncle taught him that the blues originates from a melding of African American music and Irish music. He's like, the Irish. Yes. This is something he taught as a kid. He's like, the Irish were our buddies. The Irish were our fellow oppressed people, and we shared music. Then he's like, wow, that's interesting. He didn't know that. As a black man, he didn't know that.
That's what people don't understand about the South in that point in time, especially in the Delta. You had poor black people, you had poor white people working together. You had poor Asian people. And this is the other thing. Ambrose Carmageddon brought up the Chinese built the railroads. You had the Chinese who actually came to the Mississippi Delta.
Yep.
I had to find this out after researching my family history and finding out why the heck did I have ancestry from like Canton, my family. Why?
You got
because
that too. You got Force blood. You got everything. You're United Nations.
Everything, that whole age of explorations. See everybody checking out everybody else. But the Chinese came to the Delta. Some of them didn't want to get, blown up trying to build the railroads or stuff like that. The whole thing, Chinaman's chance. No, they didn't want to do that. They moved to the Delta. They're not accepted by the white people in the community, but however, they open up stores and businesses in the black community. And from what my grandfather told me, they could go into a supermarket or a store that were owned by the Chinese, and they didn't have to put up with any racial crap whatsoever. They didn't. Yeah. And they were as much a part of the community as everyone else was. And that's another thing that this movie brought out. So if you think that it's just specifically only about black people, you completely missed the point.
Well,
and
one
did not
feature in what the toxic side of quote so-called woke is it's historically inauthentic or historically inaccurate or revisionist in a very jarring way. This had none of that. Like you said, like the Asian or the Chinese storekeepers, that's historically authentic. So
yes, it is.
They weren't misrepresenting in an extreme way something to push a certain point. This was, and I mean, vampires is fantasy. That's different from historically inauthentic. This was very historically authentic. And the love of music in this was great. And this idea that, living in tough times, right? It may be at the bottom of that social hierarchy. Music was something, and you'll find this around the world. Music is something that people can find to express happiness and joy, even in tough times. That's not a narrative. That's a real thing. And this movie also featured Irish music very prominently. I downloaded half of the songs in this movie, including that Rocky Road to Dublin.
Rocky Road to Dublin. And here's, and I know I gotta move off of this a little bit, but when you watch Sinners, and I forget if it was Smoker or Stack, gave Delroy Lindo's character, he said, I want you to try this. And he said, what is this? He's like, that, my friend, is an Irish beer.
That was Stack, yeah.
On Netflix, watch a miniseries called House of Guinness. In the opening sequence where they showed the funeral for old man Guinness, they were playing Rocky Road to Dublin. Okay. I'm like, wow, and there's a story about how Guinness beer showed up in America. That was on purpose. How they did that.
If you listen to the lyrics, it's brilliant. Because I fell in love with that song, right? I fell in love with all the songs, but in particular the Irish songs I wasn't familiar with, and now I'm just like obsessed with Irish songs, Irish dance. Because you see that, I've now been like, this is amazing. A whole culture I didn't know much about. But that if you listen to the lyrics of Rocky Road to Dublin, it is about an exiled man, an Irish man, having to go to London to look for work, like Smoke and Stack had to go to the north because they've been starved out of their own homeland, right? So they have to go somewhere to find work at the home of their oppressor. They have to go to, and it's a song about that, about basically going to the land of the people that have pushed you out of your home to work as a servant for them and still keeping your dignity. That song is very powerful. People all over the world of every cultural background have experienced humiliation. All of us have been at the top and all of us have been at the bottom at some point in our histories, right? And that song touches that.
Yeah, and I've actually listened to a full interview with Ryan Coogler, and he's talking about his love of Irish music. So that music isn't in there to demonize the Irish characters. That's part of the labor of love of the film. It's part of the motif that this film had. So I loved it. I thought it was great.
Well, one of the things that I got into a big fight with someone who left my Patreon over this, and fine, because if these are their values, they shouldn't be on my Patreon. When I started posting on my Patreon my love for this movie, one person posted, "Oh, Ryan Coogler is a racist." It's clear to me they hadn't seen the film. They claimed they had, but they had no critique of it, so they hadn't seen it, right? And Ryan Coogler is a racist, and that so offended me. I was like, based on what? And when I confronted them, they left the Patreon and sent me an insulting message saying, "You're a racist for calling me a racist." I'm like, I just want you to defend your statement. And then Ryan Coogler, like I said, Ryan Coogler, open love for Irish culture, white Irish culture, that he expressed when I saw him on stage, and he was there with Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, he spoke at the DGA, and Christopher Nolan, he said, Ryan Coogler was like, "Christopher Nolan's my sensei. This is the man who's taught me how to be a filmmaker. I want to be like him." Yeah, that guy's a racist.
He's not a racist. Yeah.
I mean, it's shocking. But again, that was a comment somebody made. And I was like, okay, you want to leave the Patreon? Maybe you're not thinking straight, so maybe you should go.
Wow, Coogler and Christopher Nolan. That's a powerful couple to listen talk to. It was
one of the most there's so many people in Hollywood, like well-renowned directors, filmmakers, who talk so much about this film and how much they love it. Kiss My Grits for $5. Thank you so much, very, very, very much, my dear. Let me blow you up real quick. Thank you. Since those who've been criticizing Sinners the loudest never actually watched a single frame, they're just rage baiting on social for clicks. Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about some of the people in the culture war corner.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them who they went to go see the movie and are just like, well, it's overrated, it's racist, it's blah, blah, blah. It's like, what evidence do you have? None. No cultural reference, no nothing. Just to hate on it, just to hate on this film. And again, you have people, and I have to credit Mark with this because we're probably going to talk about it on Dark Council next week as well. These are the same group of people who whine, bone, bitch, and complain that Black people need to make their own films. We're tired of the race weapon. We're tired of this. And then you get a film that's with original characters, with a good percentage of them that happen to be Black, 100. Made by a filmmaker who happens to be Black, okay? And this film makes a crap ton of money. And what do you say? Of course, that's the thing. Oh, well, it's just like Dusk Till Dawn. No, it's not. Then it's, oh, well, this movie is only getting press because it's full of Black people.
Not true.
So if that is your
for that reason, the industry, Variety and New York Times tried to shut it down. They wanted it to go away.
Tried to shut it down. Didn't want to give it any props at all. But I'll tell you this: if you think that this film only is getting press because it's a quote unquote Black film, explain to me why Everything Everywhere All at Once, headed by a bunch of Asian actors, Michelle Yeoh being my favorite, made a crap ton of money, won Oscars, bought back short round, okay,
Love this
and
too.
no one said a thing about it. No one said anything about, oh, this film is just getting attention because it's Asian film. Make that make sense to me.
That's true. You're right. I don't remember this being a contentious anything.
No one made any comment on it. And
no.
And no one made a comment on Slumdog Millionaire, which is an incredible
movie.
India,
I have become friends in the last year with A.R. Rahman, who is the composer of he won 2 Oscars for it, and he's the biggest Bollywood composer. He is the king of Bollywood, and we've become friends. We met through a mutual friend, and I mean, it's an honor to have this multi-Oscar winner musician in my life, right? But I mean, that is a work of art, and no one said, a bunch of Indian people, and the main characters were all Indian Muslims. Nobody commented on it.
They were all.
Oh, we also had Parasite, which was from Korea. The other,
yes, Parasite, and another thing to bring up about Slumdog Millionaire, the biggest group of people who were crapping on that film were high caste Indians.
Well, yeah, but that's
You tried to basically say, "Oh no, there's no such thing as a Dalit class." No. It's like no.
That's
no,
why we
no,
Pakistani
no way.
said, "See y'all later, suckers. We ain't gonna be part of this crap. We're out." That's why 47 were like, "See y'all later. We ain't gonna be part of this garbage." But yeah, I mean, I've actually been to India. By the way, I cannot go to India anymore for the near future, even though I'm a U.S. citizen. India recently passed a law where anyone of Pakistani descent, going back to their grandparents, has to go through all of these security checks with the department, with the military, with the Ministry of Defense, whatever. Ain't gonna give me no more visa. But I went there 20 years ago, and I saw with my own eyes the world of Slumdog Millionaire. I saw children living in tents in gutters. I mean, Pakistan's a poor country. I've never seen that. I've been to West Africa multiple times. Never seen that. I mean, the horror of what is shown in Slumdog Millionaire, I saw it with my own eyes. I know it's not exaggerated because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, these people can't live like this. It's not possible. And that was 25 years ago.
Wow.
Absolutely. And with Everything Everywhere All at Once, I didn't care that there were Asians in. Okay, I cared that Michelle Yeoh was in there. Okay, because I'm a Michelle Yeoh fan girl, all right? So I'm like, I'm going to watch this. But you got Kiri Kwan's in there. The film was freaking amazing. I didn't think I was going to like it. And I sat and watched the whole entire thing. I didn't care that the cast was, majorly, Asian. Yes, Jamie Lee Curtis was very well justified in getting the Oscar that she did over Angela Bassett because she freaking killed that role. You didn't get anything about that. A lot of people just were like, this movie is great. Yes, it is. But yet, you've got a movie like Sinners, which is with original Black characters, the very thing that you whine, bitch, and complain that you want, but now you get what you want and you don't like it.
Totally.
So that says a lot more about what you're really after.
Correct.
Well, in fact, one of the criteria for what I've defined as woke is originality. Usually woke takes existing IPs and inserts characters in there with other reasons behind it. This doesn't fit that criteria either. Also the marketing campaigns behind it, what they say about the film, how they present it and how they frame it. None of that was framed in that context either. So this doesn't, we don't have to get into it in depth, but I did score. I created a criteria and I scored different films based on what I would classify as a woke film versus a non-woke film. And this came up very low. I put it up there if you wanted to show it briefly. Sinners scored very low. So you could see, this is my own criteria, and you could see the percentage.
Glory. That was good.
Right. So I took a film, Glory. It's about African-American experiences in the United States. It's a historical story. That is 8%. So that is very low. That is not a woke film whatsoever. And you could see Sinners is at that level. 11% is super low. And then if you look at some of these other, like Acolyte and Rings of Power, they scored very high. They completely betrayed this bad criteria. So, and you could see even The Force Awakens really wasn't that bad on the woke side. But by the time you get to Last Jedi, it is. So I thought this, Aliens was not woke. She had a female lead in there. So it's just interesting. I'm just showing how low Sinners actually scores on this criteria.
So one of the things we talked about, when I've tried to get people who said to me they don't like the movie to get their critique, and the critique is usually at the level of, it's like, From Dusk Till Dawn, right? I mean, it's, again, so what? Everything is based off the Odyssey and the Iliad. So what, right? I mean, and so, yeah. So, but, and one time I don't think I haven't been welcomed back on this channel since I had this conversation, which got a little heated, right? The YouTube channel that I was on where we were talking about Sinners maybe 9 months ago, and someone, the scene we talked about that I think will be taught in film schools is that moment where music bends time forward and past, right? Which is remarkably shot, just as a work of art. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, and I don't know that it can be replicated ever again that way. And the person on the panel was like, well, because what it does is it's through a young blues musician through his music, he opens up a time warp that he can't see, but the supernatural creatures like the vampires can see it. And we see it, a time warp where spirits from the past and the future come in and dance with the music. So we see people from West Africa, from his ancestry, coming in and dancing traditional things. We see Chinese traditional dance because they're Chinese people in the scene. So their ancestors come. And then we see people from the future, which shows the entire journey of where music is going to go from blues onwards, all the way, through.
I'm gonna risk the copyright claim. I'm gonna risk it.
But
I'm gonna risk it. I'm risking it for the brisket.
There's one moment in there that's just it's a flash of showing the historical development of culture because of music, where they just see one girl twerking to the music. And it's just a flash as we're walking through. The person said, well, that's an example of, degrading, black culture. And I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And so here, let's take a look at this.
White dude.
So this is the magic of you guys, because I've been to West Africa. I've seen people dressed in this national dress and playing those kinds of instruments. I've seen it today, right? And so this is the origin, showing this is the origin of modern blues, which is the origin of rock and roll, as Elvis himself.
This is how he steps. This needs to be taught in film schools, the way that scene from Jurassic Park is shown, where you do not see the T-Rex at all. You just see the cup, and then you just see the water slowly rippling. You don't see it yet. The same artistry. They just the way that this is shot, the music that you hear, just like Cameron was saying. It was. I'm just like,
interspersed, past, present. Everyone is there enjoying the music. So you're seeing someone from the sort of 80s metal band, right? You're seeing this development. You're seeing sort
hip-hop.
of hip hop, break dancing. It was very popular in the 80s. You see some of that culture, and that you're walking through here. You're watching again. This is all happening in this 1930s time. And this is one shot. This whole thing is one shot.
One shot. That's the griot from West Africa.
Well, and they're also saying, when you're out there dancing, you're part of this. You're part of this ancient tradition that has flowed through humankind for millennia, Exactly. And you, just by showing up and dancing tonight, like, you're part of it,
And so now we've got the Chinese woman dancing to it. By the way, we just skipped over, but there was that brief moment of someone twerking, and that was all very offensive. It's like, this is how music evolved. That's historical reality, right? Dancing.
Well,
it's funny because sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lorraine. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say it's very interesting how some people say certain things are offensive. Salsa, which is so popular, was originally a Negro dance.
Yeah.
In the slums in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
And no self-respecting Spaniard-descended Cuban will be caught dead dancing that way.
It was degrading. It was sexual. It was debased.
Yes.
That's how those things start. Yeah. Well, and I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We interrupted you.
No. That's okay. I thought I had it in my head.
Well, it'll come back. Yeah. And then we've got Delroy Lindo playing the brilliant Delta Slim.
This is why I'm saying it's tough between this and K-pop Demon Hunters Golden, because they're both amazing original songs for different reasons, and people want originality. This is what they want. This is what people clamored for. This is what people said.
You've never seen this before, ever. Nope. I've never seen anything like it.
Never.
If we can go on,
original.
And we now see that it's because the point is the magic of music brings out spirits of all cultures. Right. So because there's a Chinese person, that her ancestors' souls are drawn to the music. And we're going to see that in a second. Right. And it's wonderful to see old Chinese, pantomime. And
there's one there.
There's a guy doing sort of pantomime from the Imperial era. Right?
Yeah.
And then this woman doing, we're going to see her in a second, this woman doing sort of traditional Chinese dance.
Right there.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just mesmerizing. And she's there dancing with the people from 1980s hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say. I think the director just made a conscious decision to include as wide of a range, a spectrum of how this impulse, this dance and this music is expressed in all these different ways. Twerking, whether you like it or not, I don't care. It's on that spectrum, and they made the decision to include all of it. including
why
the hip hop and
it's part of
the
history.
turntables. Go
Why
ahead.
be embarrassed about it? It's part of the history. So yeah,
Exactly.
And so the gentleman wearing the mask. Now that's a sacred West African dance. It's very hard to do, and I believe they actually brought in a West African dancer who's trained in this ancient ritual dance to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this
Wow.
whole scene was just absolutely.
And by the way, this is the center of the movie because this is what draws the vampires. The vampires realize the vampires are trapped on this world. That our main vampire, he's actually probably well over 1,000 years old. He's lost touch with his ancestors. He's trapped here. This music will allow him to see his loved ones from 1,000 years ago. That's the whole point of this movie is this scene.
Yeah, they actually warn them not to play like authentically, right? Don't put your passion into it. You might bring something back. I think the opening.
That's what his father said, who was the minister.
Yeah,
that's what he said. And this is like the Western. I want to say Yoruba. From what I've seen. And the interesting
very hard
is the same dancing that you see in the second line in New Orleans is exactly the same thing.
Wow.
It's exactly the same.
So this
thing.
is 500-600 years of heritage.
No one can deny
captured in a single shot. I mean,
Kane books. I appreciate you saying that they're. I have yet to find the character issues that people critique of, but if you can put some of them in the chat, I haven't found the flaws character-wise. I've now seen this movie 6 times. I haven't found those flaws. Other people might find them. I haven't found them.
It'll be interesting to point those out. But yeah, we will definitely have to get back to talking more about Sinners. I am really hoping to put together a watch party for that film and would love it if Cameron and Doug with you guys to sit with you, because I think you have got people who are saying things about this film, but haven't actually sat and truly watched the film. Watch the film with someone who actually has ancestry from that region. Hello, and I can actually explain to you some of the things that are in this, because for me, this movie basically brings to life a lot of stories that my grandfather told me about living in that area of Mississippi. Because case in point, the opening scene, all right. This dude, he's got blood all over him and he's in a car. And I'm thinking, how could you afford that car? Because you look like a sharecropper's son. That when my grandfather was growing up, people still had, horses and buggies, and only rich people, that's, carriage, whatever. Only really rich people actually had cars, which is why it was such a big deal to see Smoke and Stack roll into town with the car that they had. So,
well,
wow.
And one of the other things, there's a brief moment for me. This is, as a filmmaker, having now watched it 6 times. The genius of the script is everything set up and payoff. Tiny things that I didn't notice in the first, third, or fourth screen of viewing of it. I saw in the 5th and 6th. Tiny things that are set up early on are paid off later. Everything is paid off. Everything is set up and paid off. It's perfectly mirrored. Every scene is there on purpose. And there's these wondrous moments that are just like, that reveal so much. Like this brief moment where the character Annie, who's sort of the local shamaness, preserving West African hoodoo type tradition of healing and magic. She does a brief moment where she just says a couple of sentences in Yoruba, showing that Yoruba is still alive in 1930s Black community. It had not just the magic and the dance and the healing herbs have been preserved. The language has been secretly preserved over 300 years, passed from mother to daughter. That just brief moment that this woman in 1930 South is speaking West African language because it's still alive.
Yes, because it is the working of roots. It is voodoo. That is Yoruban spread throughout the Caribbean, brought to New Orleans, that whole area with the Delta. I grew up with that. Well, church people don't mess with that, but that was talked about, and I absolutely loved it because I said that was so authentic and so
authentic. That's the word.
Do you think Sinners or K-pop Demon Hunters will win Best Original Song at the Oscars? I hate to say it. I shouldn't hate to say it. It's like trying to choose between which kid do you love the most, honestly. Yeah, it is. It's a Sophie's choice, but I do think that it's going to go to K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, I mean, it probably
I really do.
It's a good song. Golden. It's a good song.
It is an absolutely good song, and I think it will go to them. A prediction that I am going to make before we get to the Star Wars thing. Because of one battle after another, and how the Academy seems to love to vote for movies that make them feel good, like Driving Miss Daisy, like giving oh my gosh, giving Denzel Washington the Oscar for Training Day instead of for Malcolm X. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I think Best Picture will wind up going to One Battle After Another, but
It
the
better not.
screenplay will go to Sinners just because of how.
I hope you're wrong, Lorena.
I hope I'm wrong. I sincerely hope I'm wrong, but Comrade, you know how those Oscar politics are.
Oh, you know what I think is going to happen? I think there will be an upset where it's actually going to be Blue Moon that wins screenplay. Best original. Well, not because it's it's a brilliant film, Blue Moon. If you haven't seen it, it's a brilliant film. For what it is, it's not Sinners. It's a movie that takes place in one bar, right? With some songwriters and people of the new. It's just an amazing movie. But I think this is the year of there's going to be a lot of surprises. I think I could be proven wrong in a few weeks. I think Sinners will get Best Picture. I think it will beat the Anderson movie because everyone was shocked that Sinners got more nominations than the Anderson movie, which I think it's going to beat it because everyone was saying they're going to knock Sinners out and give it to Anderson. I don't know that that's going to happen this year. We'll see.
Yeah,
Well, Hollywood, who's been really pushing the DEI stuff. Here's real stuff. Put your money where your mouth is. I mean, like, here we have a great movie here. They should recognize it on all those different tiers that it performed at an excellent level.
They should, but if I go back and pull history, it's like they ignored Do the Right Thing and went for
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X, he was just fucking
the Malcolm X. It's just
Spike Lee was screwed. It's his greatest film. It's Denzel Washington's greatest performance. They were both screwed.
And Spike hadn't been the same since. Well, first of all, let's see. We've got a super chat here that I would like the both of you to actually address. Since we have you here, the Osvaldo Lopez for $4.99. Let me hit you up with one of my favorite clips from Tropic Thunder.
Who here's a key grip? Hit that director in the face. Really fucking hard.
Ow.
Tropic Thunder.
Most accurate representation of Hollywood ever done.
Yes.
Dude, that is hysterical.
Oh, I love it. Let's see. The Osvaldo Lopez, thank you for that $4.99 super chat, my dear, says, have Gina Carano's chances of being included in the Mando movie increased greatly now that Kathleen Kennedy is gone? Or is it too late in the production schedule?
I mean, let me answer this because I actually asked my source inside of Lucasfilm that several months ago, and they did not have direct knowledge. They said they had heard rumors. They had heard rumors that Gina was going to be put into the film after the settlement, but they can't confirm that. They just heard talk in the office, but they haven't seen like a production schedule where she was brought in. They said if it was done very secretly on purpose, though we weren't even in the office aware of what's happening, which is how you would do it because it is too late today to put her in. I mean, this movie's pretty much wrapped and going through final edit, a final post, right? But my instinct is she might surprise us with a cameo. That's my instinct, but they'll keep it as a surprise. And maybe she's not in it. It doesn't matter because as Carano and Disney announced, they're going to be working with her. They said it in their announcement, so she's coming back. And my source did say the plans are to bring her back into Star Wars, whether it's in this film or not. That's an open thing that has been stated after the settlement. That plan part of the settlement is she's going to come back. And that was what she was. So that whether she appears in a cameo or not, she's coming back from what my person said. And not everyone believes my source, but they've been remarkably right the last several weeks. So I'm just not interested. I know you're not on my Patreon right now, but Douglas is, and you've seen remarkably accurate. My source inside Lucasfilm has been the last several weeks, the scoops that we've been getting weeks in advance. In fact, it's linked to what we're talking about now. We're switching to Lucasfilm, but if you recall, just before Kathleen Kennedy announced her official stepping down, 2 days before that, there was this announcement that Galaxy's Edge was going to be revamped to go back to Vader, Star Wars, all that, right? And then the LA Times did a very lengthy analysis of how they were going back to old Star Wars, and essentially the new version hadn't worked. And that's shocking for the LA Times to do that lengthy analysis. And then 48 hours later, Miss Kennedy was out, or at least officially out. And Douglas will know from being on my Patreon, I had reported everything that was in that LA Times article 17 months ago. 17 months ago, everything I had reported that my source told me, these are the conversations of what they're going to do to Galaxy's Edge a year and a half ago. Literally, the LA Times article even used almost some of the literal verbiage that I used in my Patreon, right? Of this is this, and I was like, did you copy my Patreon? What is this? But literally, so I'm like, people tell me your source ain't real. It's not you. I was like, well, they predicted exactly what was going to happen at the parks 18 months ago, so they must know something.
Well, and ultimately, Cameron, I don't even know if we officially addressed this, but ultimately, the big narrative divergence was when they brought Daisy Ridley back. Your position was that this is not a true announcement and this is not a real film, which has been proven correct. So I don't even think we've ever really revisited that main divergence point. Ultimately, you were right about that. So the information and the discussions on some of it's speculation. No one knows for sure, obviously, but it's been the most grounded and reliable discussion, even with speculation, has been on Cameron's Patreon page.
And
so
people who have an agenda for what they want Star Wars to be won't like it because, like I said, I try to keep in the center of what I know is happening and what is likely to happen, not based on what I want to happen, what I wish was happening, or what I resent happening. It's based on how this stupid town works, which is an amoral industry. It's an industry that is based on power dynamics that shift daily. And you have to be in there to watch people's beliefs and goals and agendas and politics change with the wind as they sift out, how do I survive one more day in this town? And since I've been in it for 25 years of that, I can say this is what they're going to do, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
100%, which is why I loved having Cameron on the show, because you can sit around and you've got, channels sort of sit around and spitball and guess about what's going on in Hollywood, or you can hear from people who've actually been in it. Now, granted, I have not been in the screenwriting area whatsoever. I just happened to live there for 5 years in the middle of all that, and the stuff that you hear, especially things that I saw on Paramount's like, I'm just going to say some episodes of Star Trek, I'm just like, I can't believe that actually started because somebody said, yeah, we might do such and such and so and so. Stories suck, but guess what? They got it made. So you know what that told me? Sometimes it's not about quality. It's about whose ass you can kiss the most and who wants to deal with you. Sometimes it's like, look, I'm just trying to get paid. I'm just trying to get done. I'm just trying
unless you're someone like Ryan Coogler who comes in with a plan. As I have two African American friends of mine who are producers who work with Ryan Coogler, and they told me that Ryan told them years ago that he planned Sinners years ago.
Oh,
wow. They told him years ago he planned it, and at the time when he sold it to Warner Brothers, they said his genius was he presented to Warner Brothers as something he knew they would buy, not knowing the actual movie that he was going to make. They thought they were getting something like a, Dust to Dawn, remake without any sophistication or depth. And that's all they were comfortable buying. And he sold it to them as this fun little vampire movie we're going to do, right? And then they were kind of shocked when the train started moving and his plan unveiled. And that's how he outsmarted them.
Well, he's, Warner Brothers is the big winner in the Oscars this year, and Coogler's the head of the parade,
So sometimes
Absolutely.
that's what I try to do in my. I was like, guys, I'm just trying to make you money. I'm trying to give you awards. I know that's not your goal. I know your goal is just to survive one more day in the job. My goal is to actually make something good, right? I tried that on Tron. My goal was to make like, a top animated show that created a franchise that would last 10 years. And everyone's job was, I just want to keep my job one more day. I don't care if the show sucks. Right. And that won out. Right. So, but I wasn't as smart as Kugler. You knew how to thread that needle. I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, when I heard this news, again, I knew something was up days prior. And I'm like, guess what? We're bringing original trilogy characters back on the park. Specifically Darth Vader, the original stormtroopers, not the first order stormtroopers that you see right there behind. That's the real stormtroopers that had crazy ass accurate, aim. And what you guys have heard from me on this channel for the longest time is that it was true. The first thing they were going to do with Galaxy's Edge is it was going to be original trilogy based. It was positioned to be that way. You can see it today. If you go to Star Tours, there's a reason why you start out in Endor, you end up in Tatooine on purpose. Okay. And Kathleen Kennedy derailed that plan.
It's almost unfathomable.
Completely. I can't imagine being an Imagineer working on that and basically saying, guess what? No, we're not doing that. We're doing the sequel trilogy.
Well,
and
it's
I kept
like
saying, unless they go back to that, it's not going to work.
It will not work. I mean, what's always puzzling to me is that seems like it shouldn't have been even negotiable. It's like, okay, obviously we're going to do Tatooine, Hoth, Endor, obviously. And then someone's like, actually, no, we're not. We're going to do these other planets that we just invented. This needs to be studied. This has to be studied by science, how bizarre how every decision was wrong and how much was destroyed and how much money was lost in this one woman's pursuit of legacy, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It needs to be studied because that never should have been allowed to happen. And I tell people, plans were already in motion. Everything was already in motion to bring basically original trilogy and some prequel trilogy stuff. Because, hey, we need a Coruscant, okay? There's pictures of Coruscant in Star Tours, okay?
Yeah.
There's like a poster for Coruscant. So you were going to have that. Thought we were going to get that. And then this woman torpedoes all of it. And
Unbelievable.
With that, all of the goodwill of people thinking that they were either going to say, hey, it's going to be Star Wars weekends 24/7 in this hotel. I'm going to get to have dinner with Darth Vader. I'm going to get to ride, a speeder, or I'm going to haggle with Jawas. I'm going to go try to buy death sticks somewhere. This is what we thought we were going to get. And
this is what this is what Jon Favreau wanted, right? This is what any normal, rational business person who understood this franchise would want, right? And unfortunately, Ms. Kennedy was not that person. So,
well, and I've been to Universal and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I'm not even into Harry Potter. I can respect it. I've seen the movies. And I was like, yeah, these are good movies. I just never got that into it. But when I'm at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, I feel like I'm a big fan. Because how could you not get into it when you're just walking around and the dragon breathes fire? And now you've got Star Wars and you're going to build a Star Wars park? You know exactly what to do. You know what to do. And you didn't do it. So, like, I have zero sympathy,
In my article, in my Patreon article 17 months ago, I revealed that this was a conversation that Jon Favreau himself initiated with the accountants at Disney 17 months ago. He had sat down with the accountant and said, we need to revamp, Galaxy's Edge and go back to original Star Wars and give them that, right? And they said, you know how much money that's going to cost? And we're going to talk about how much money this thing's already lost. He's like, we're in the hole. We can't give you that money. He said, if you don't give me this money, you will be in a hole much bigger than you can imagine. There is no way out of this hole except that you spend the money to make the park that we should have had. And you're going to do it. And they fought him for a long time, the bean counters. And then one day they stopped fighting him. And here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
That took that long. It's amazing that it took that long to turn the ship around.
That's the
Yeah.
system.
That's the system. That's, you've got people who do not want to admit that they are wrong, not listening to the people telling them that they're wrong, not listening to the guests who they want to go to this thing, listening to what they're saying, that it's too expensive. It doesn't look like it's interesting at all. They have influencers that went who were actually, comp their experience, and people just like, who's paying for this? Who's paying for this thing that we don't want to see, characters we don't want to see, that that we're not interested in seeing? It makes absolutely no sense. Galaxy's Edge is a ghost town. The only thing that moves at Disney in the parks that's Star Wars related is original trilogy merchandise, to be specific, Darth Vader merchandise. Okay. That will move faster than anything. People will stalk you around a retail location if you wind up getting like, Darth Vader merchandise. There's even a Darth Vader baseball jersey.
I think I've seen that.
Yes. All of that. It's either Baby Yoda merch or Darth Vader merch. And that's the stuff that sells. And you will see like original trilogy stuff gone. All the other stuff is just sitting around collecting dust. No one wants it. I've been in Galaxy's Edge where I've heard people say, "Where's the old Star Wars? This is not Star Wars. I don't get it. I'm going to go back over to Star Tours." And speaking of that, not only are they changing and bringing the original trilogy, but they're bringing the original John Williams music score to Galaxy.
I mean, again, these are non-negotiables. These should have been starting points. Obviously, we're doing original trilogy. Obviously, we're using John Williams. Like that, I felt like it would be pre-discussion because that's settled. It's just weird how this could have gone sideways.
I don't know, but I'm going to ask this question to both of you gentlemen. What do you think of the decision or rumored decision that instead of one successor, there's two? You're going to be co-CEOs. Dave Filoni, and I'm forgetting who the other chick's name is.
Lynwen Brennan, yeah.
Yeah, she was basically the business person that was in charge of Skywalker Sound and Industrial Light and Magic. That's her background. So she was those were the two. So now I'm going to give you some insight from my source, right? My source, Codename Sparrow, gave me a lot of insight onto this, which I published on my Patreon over the last couple of weeks. They said that, first of all, I've been saying for a couple of years that there's no way that Dave Filoni can be the studio head because, he is an animator who has, gotten mid-level success inside the studio. He ain't run no studio. Running a studio requires business acumen, it requires dealing with accountants, it requires dealing with a lot of corporate crap, a lot of and that's not what he's trained in. He's an animator, right? He's only made one feature film. It's an animated film that didn't succeed, right? So he's not even like Jon Favreau, who's a multi-talented feature filmmaker. This guy could not. He doesn't have the skills to run a studio, and he knows that, and everyone knows that. So Lynwen Brennan, however, is a businesswoman who has no creative, input. She's proven that, because my source said that the two areas that were making at least some money for Lucasfilm over these years were Skywalker Sound and Industrial Light and Magic, because those are services that are rented out to the entire Hollywood industry.
Exactly. Because that's something that George Lucas did from the beginning. Correct. When he first started. You had Skywalker Sound and you had ILM. And it grew from a little cottage industry to, the industry, and they wind up subcontracting to other people. But George Lucas set that up specifically to bankroll Lucasfilm. So it's actually good to hear, because when I heard ILM, and Skywalker Sound. Those contracts are absolutely gangster. 99% of the movies that you will see, wait till you see the credits roll, Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah.
Skywalker Sound. You will see
Lynwen
that.
Brennan was in charge of that for the last several years. So she's proven that she can make at least some division of Lucasfilm make money. No other division was making it. She's proven, okay, I can keep this ship from sinking. So that's already a skill that no other person in Kennedy's coterie had, right? You know, and it's important. Carrie Beck, you know, who is still there, but she ain't nowhere to be seen around this top level. Carrie Beck was being pushed for a little bit by Miss Kennedy to be her replacement because Carrie Beck was the loyal acolyte, right? And I think Douglas or others, Stacey Ballard on my Patreon has talked a lot about how she was also Dana Walden's choice, and so the fact that Carrie Beck had no shot at this, which I was told she had no shot whatsoever because she was seen as too closely allied with Kennedy. She had no shot at the job, even though that's what Kennedy wanted. It also shows that Dana Walden is unlikely to become the next CEO of Disney because that was Dana's choice.
Told people this.
Wow.
There's no way Dana Walden is going to be the CEO.
And Josh D'Amaro, who's in charge of the parks, is likely to be the CEO because what's the first thing that they're doing is they're revamping the parks to make money. So that's the priority before even her announcement. Her resignation is announced, right? So I think the odds are 99% that Josh D'Amaro is the designated successor because the priority of Lucasfilm is now the parks, of pouring money into the park. That's the new CEO's vision. This thing's going to make money now. We're going to make money, or we're going to, because I'm done. I'm the park guy. I'm done with this being the one embarrassment in my system.
Well, yeah, and all this stuff is connected. Those parks started to fail because their range of brands started to fail. You know, why go to Galaxy's Edge? Why go there? And then, you know, I mean, they stigmatize themselves in a way with this past effort. So I'm encouraging them, make the changes, make the adjustments, and your audience will come back. You know, people say all these brands are dead, and I understand the sentiment. But really, you're one great film, one great show away from bringing a lot of people back. It just takes one. But that's not easy, as now we've seen. It's not so easy to make a good Star Wars film. It seems like
especially every step forward is 2 steps back, right? You get Mando being good, then Gina Carano gets fired, which screws up Mando. The next season, it screws up Book of Boba Fett because she's got to be written out, and they scramble together a mediocre Book of Boba Fett without her, right? Then they take episodes out of Mando to fill in to Boba Fett. That doesn't work. So that one thing destroy 2 shows, right? And then now people don't try, and then you try to do Andor, which is well received, and then you follow up that with The Acolyte, which is very poorly received, which then destroys Skeleton Crew, which is a good show, so nobody watches that. This is this horrible back and forth. Every time they try to do something good, Miss Kennedy's like, remember, I'm still the boss, you're gonna do my thing, and that thing takes it backwards, right? So every time they try to fix it, she'd be like, but that's not my thing. Do my thing now, and then my thing would ruin it.
Yeah, and we tracked the history of Lucasfilm over multiple streams at one point, and you could literally see her just like blocking, success, like anything that was successful, she blocked it, and it was like someone who just was convinced this Hail Mary will work. No, this Hail Mary will work, and before you know it, you're like, the score is 900-0. It's time to hang it up.
And the Acolyte was the final blow, the blow. The Acolyte combined with Indiana Jones, which is the largest film disaster in history. It's the biggest loss in history, right? And so it's that, and then when Steven Spielberg humiliated her on stage, where he thanked everyone except her and Frank Marshall, right? She stopped clapping. She was filled with rage, and she had to be dragged off of stage by Frank Marshall because it was such a public snub. And that was the moment I realized she was finished. And that's when the succession plan began. And interestingly enough, even in her sort of fake exit interview that she does with Deadline, which is the only trade that still kissed her butt, right?
Yeah.
Even in that interview, you notice she says, when she starts talking about when the succession conversation began, it was 2 years ago. I was like, what was 2 years ago? Oh, Indiana Jones, the Acolyte, and your humiliation on stage. So that was, the succession conversation began that night because all the Disney executives watched Steven Spielberg make a fool of you, right? And they're like, okay, this one's done. What do we do now?
Yeah.
The
Well, and we
funny-
have to remember Indiana
go ahead.
Jones was it was one of those, almost like the Ray movie almost. It was one of these films that was discussed and nothing was happening. And right when her career seemed like it was going to be over, suddenly it got fast tracked into production. So and that's when people were like, well, that's what she's going to go out on, was Indiana Jones. And it was one of the biggest losses in film history. So it's like, I don't know how you could have made it any worse. You found a way to make it even worse.
Found a way to make it worse, and even in the parks, and I covered this in the parks. We were actually watching the Indiana Jones stunt show. Okay, they made some changes that they really shouldn't have, but either way, it still packs people in there because you hear that music and it's like, yeah, we really want to see the stunts and everything. So you get one of the TAs, cast members, who's talking about, who likes the original Indiana Jones, who likes Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and of course people were like clapping all over the place. And then how many people are excited about Dial of Destiny? You could have heard an ant fart. That's the whole. I captured that live, and people were like, "Did that really just happen?" There's like no one is saying anything about this movie whatsoever. It's like you killed Star Wars, you killed, Indiana Jones, and the people who pay money to go to the parks, because the parks are what fund the films. Correct. You have to remember
which was Walt Disney's vision. But also Walt Disney's vision was to make those parks accessible to normal people, right? Just like Henry Ford's vision is let people buy the car.
Yes, it's just like you could get things, kind of customize the car, but overall, make it so that people see value so they will spend money. I keep bringing this thing up called My Dinner with Vader. If you told me I get to be escorted through, Bespin, turn around, the door slam, pulls up, and next thing you know, there's dinner and there's Darth Vader at the end, hell yeah, I'd pay for that. That's what we thought we were getting.
So back in 2015, the last time I went to Disney was 2015. I've been to multiple parks since then, but it was right after the success of Force Awakens, which was really hot. If you can go back to 2015, Brain, it was really hot. And we came in and they had, Captain Phasma walking around with the First Order Stormtrooper. And back then that was cool still. It was really cool. But they had the original characters too. And someone approached us and they saw my son. He was like 4 or 5 years old. They're like, does he want to do it's free Jedi training? And I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. So they gave him a Jedi robe and a lightsaber, and they went through this choreographed thing. He got to go on stage. I have this filmed. He goes on stage to the Imperial March. Darth Vader's there. And this wasn't like someone in a suit where it doesn't fit, doesn't quite look like Vader. This guy looked like Vader, like the thickness, everything. And he's like, join me. And he's literally saying the lines from the movie to my son. And my son got to do a lightsaber battle with him. They had like sound effects every time they hit. And then he got to walk off stage. And then they had this other performative, all for free. It was unbelievable. It was one of the most extraordinary experiences ever. And now you would never see something like that in the park. And if you did, you'd have to pay probably $700 to do it.
Yeah, because that was the Jedi Temple. That whole thing was so cool because kids get to fight Vader. You wouldn't expect it. And it was just amazing to watch. And in addition to that, I mean, every time Vader would walk through the park, people lost their crap. Yeah. And even when you went on Star Tours, because we did this one time, we walked in the Star Tours and they had the stormtroopers there, walking around. Because one day my nephew was just driving me nuts in the park. I'm like, I just want to put you somewhere. And I called the stormtroopers were walking through. I said, you can take this one with you when you go. And they stopped, came over and looked my nephew dead in the face. And when they left, it was like, Auntie, did you see that? Did you see that? I stared at the stormtrooper. It was things like that. And
that's awesome.
All of that has just been pissed away by Kathleen.
She basically gambled $14 billion and the franchise and Disney on the idea that whatever existed was outdated, and whatever she was going to do would slide in and replace it, like Indiana Jones with the idol and the bag of sand, and she triggered all the booby traps. Like, it didn't work, and she was completely wrong on that.
Well, so that actually brings us to the thing that led to a very interesting conversation that I had on Douglas's channel just a couple of days ago. So last week, when I was on Douglas's channel talking about Ms. Kennedy's official announcement of retirement, at the time, Douglas had done his own sort of analysis and come up with what he thought was a conservative but believable estimate that based on all the data that we have publicly available, Lucasfilm had lost $7 billion over the last 14 years that she was running it. I sent his analysis to my source inside of Lucasfilm, said, what do you think? They got back to me within a few hours. They said, oh, no, this is wrong. She lost $14 billion. That's our internal data. She lost $14 billion. I'm telling you from the records we've seen. I was like, what? $14 billion? And then I published that, and then Douglas did his own analysis, and he said, yeah, that's actually believable. In fact, very likely. And we did a whole video on that. I'll let you talk a little bit about that, Douglas. But yeah, I know my source saw the internal accounting data that said $14 billion loss. And then I shared Douglas's recreation of how that could have happened. And they said, this is pretty much exactly what happened.
So yeah, what I did, Lorena, was what minimum provable losses, meaning we know how much they spent on every movie. We know how much they spent on each TV show. We know how much they spent on the Galactic Star Cruiser. We know how much they spent on Galaxy's Edge, like everything that was provable. And then I took all the profits that came in from the box office from those shows, and it was $7.5 billion in the red. So I was like, man, that's a big number. Even if Disney broke even, even if Lucasfilm, broke even, that's a tragedy. You should never break even with Star Wars. You should be $7 billion in the green. Right. So, and then when Cameron said that his source, who is an insider, actually said it's twice that, it's 14, I did another deep dive analysis testing whether 14 billion is even conceivable. I have an AI service that I pay for. It's really good. I use it for research all the time. It does really good stuff. And I was like, is it even conceivable? Just to test it, and it took 4 minutes to crunch all these numbers. I gave it all the different parameters.
Yeah.
I said, okay, look at Lucasfilm Publishing, Lucasfilm, the movies, the TV shows, the theme parks, everything. And instead of it coming back saying, well, 14 might be high, it said it actually is mathematically sound. Here's why. And it had 152 sources, and it listed out all the different dimensions that the company has, and how every single part of the company lost money. We're talking every layer of Lucasfilm lost money, which is unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable.
And it showed it. We went through it for several hours. The analysis is correct. And it literally, like, things that I even thought about, but yes, like the books. The book division lost massive amounts when it had been massively profitable under EU, right? And
yes,
it's the video games.
The video, every
LucasArts
division lost money.
Well, right. So this took into account like corporate overhead. How much does it cost to run the staff of Lucasfilm from 2012 to 2026? How much did it cost to do the restructuring program? When Disney bought it, you had duplicative offices, and you had duplicative departments. They had to merge all that. It calculated that into it took in the Galaxy Star Cruiser, which was the biggest, the hotel losses. Star Wars Outlaws, they spent over $300 and some million to produce it. It made 50, or was it billion? I forgot the number. But they spent 300 and they made 50 back. So the video games lost money. The hotel lost money. The films lost money. Disney Plus lost money. The shows lost money. You lost money with Star Wars everywhere you touched it. I mean, I don't know how you do that.
And then we did the analysis of what would happen if all they had done was taken that $4 billion that was used to buy Lucasfilm and just put it in a mutual fund. in a hedge fund, right? And so conservatively, if you just get a nice, simple, low return of 5% a year over 14 years, that would have added $8 billion profit, right? It would have been $8 billion in return from a $4 billion investment at a 5% interest rate. If you had put it into some very higher paying things, it would have been $20 or $30 billion profit. Just putting it in a hedge fund. And instead, they put $4 billion in and decided, let's throw another $10 billion down the drain.
Yeah,
and ignored what was go ahead, Doug.
Go ahead, Lorena.
No, I was going to say, Star Wars was like printing your own money. Case in point, and folks in the chat, if you've gone, you will know what I'm talking about. At the studios in May, every weekend in May was Star Wars weekends.
Yep.
Okay. The park was packed. They would have the actors come in. They would have, 501st Regiment come in. It was a convention every single weekend. People with their kids, with their grandkids. You couldn't barely get the merchandise. So back on my wall, I have Minnie Mouse's Slave Leia. You ain't getting that anymore. All right.
You're right.
I got this on the tail end of Star Wars weekends and got the next to the last one. That's how crowded that event was.
Wow.
And you could cosplay. They had special, things with the actors, the hyperspace hoopla. Go look that up on YouTube. You'll see a clip of it when I play the outro. I mean, nowhere else could you see Vader and the stormtroopers dancing to MC Hammer's "You Can't Touch This." Okay, it was stuff like that, and it was so much goodwill. It was every single weekend in May. And that was the juggernaut that it was. Anything it touched, anything Star Wars, especially for Star Wars mixed with Disney characters. Like I have pins of an art of Stitch as Yoda and Stitch as the Emperor.
Wow.
Like drawn. And I think there's one where they had Goofy as Darth Vader. You have Mickey Mouse as Luke Skywalker. Donald Duck is Han Solo. I don't know. That's how they did it. But those things would sell.
Yeah.
And it was such goodwill because people would want to go to actually experience that. And that's what they need to bring back. And it takes some very, very bold steps to do that with. That's why I'm encouraged finding out that someone who's been in charge of the likes of ILM and Skywalker Sound, two revenue streams that are probably the only thing propping up Lucasfilm at this point, are involved. So it's gonna take a long time. It's gonna be interesting what they do.
Now let me add this bit of information from my source, right? Because again, Hollywood is never what it appears to be. Much the challenge of, and I know I never have this problem on your channel because you've lived in Los Angeles and you've interacted with Hollywood. Much the challenge with talking to people on YouTube about Hollywood is that one of the things is they believe what appears to be, which is the whole point of Hollywood. It's all Wizard of Oz. It's all an illusion, right? It's all illusion. Everything is PR. You're being guided and manipulated to believe things. None of this is real, right? And so the official headline, the official political structure of Lucasfilm is now Dave Filoni and Lynwen Brennan as co-presidents of the studio, right? But my source inside never wavered and continues to say that's just the official face of it. Behind the scenes, the Shadow King remains Jon Favreau. They said to me several months ago, Jon Favreau has no interest in being on the letterhead of Lucasfilm. He's a filmmaker. He wants the flexibility to go wherever he wants, spend his time making movies and doing his stuff, but he has the ear of the Disney board, right? They've come through Iger. They've come to believe this is the only guy that we can trust with Star Wars as a consigliere, as someone who has some idea what the hell he's doing, right? And so my source maintains that, yes, this is the official public structure, and Jon Favreau is not going to be coming to the office every day and telling them what to do. But he's going to be laying out the vision for this world moving forward. And what he says goes, because guess what? if there's a disagreement between Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni can't call the board of Disney. They're not going to take that.
Right.
They're not going to take that phone call. He doesn't have those relationships, right? And Lynwen Brennan don't have those relationships, right? So Mr. Filoni, the reason he's gotten to where he is he's a company man. He don't mess with the waters. Whoever's the boss, George Lucas is the boss. He's with George Lucas. Kathleen Kennedy's the boss. He's with Kathleen Kennedy. Favreau seems to be the shadow boss. He's with Favreau. He's still going to kiss Kennedy's butt in public and do what she says she wants because he's a company man. And that's how an animator becomes the co-head publicly of a studio, is that he don't make no waves and he keeps everybody happy. But also that man cannot be the visionary head of a studio because that man will always bend to the wind of power. Whereas something like Star Wars can only be led by a visionary, a George Lucas or a Jon Favreau or even a James Cameron. It has to be led by somebody like that. Ms. Kennedy thought she was that, but she was the anti-visionary. I mean, literally her vision was destructive. And she had the power and the confidence to push for her vision, which was just wrong. It was the wrong vision. But that's why she really was the head of the studio, at least for a while.
Well, you mentioned something, Cameron, in a past stream that I had never heard of before, and I looked into it, and I haven't been able to get it out of my mind. You mentioned something called the Peter Principle, and I want to share that with people because this is interesting. The Peter Principle, it's simple. So you have a company like Lucasfilm. George Lucas makes A New Hope. He makes Empire Strikes Back. More people are attracted in. You have all these people coming in, visionaries, creatives, really excellent work, and they create the original trilogy. And then over time, these people are around. You have all the different levels of a company working. Over time, they get promoted. And the Peter Principle says at some point, people will get promoted one step beyond their greatest capacity. So you might be ultra competent here, and then you get promoted, and now you're struggling because your competency is struggling. You're not as good at that higher level. And then this guy gets promoted, and he goes up here. Then she gets promoted, and she goes. And they're all suddenly at the same time at a level that they're struggling at. They're all dealing with competency issues. And this can happen widespread throughout a company to where the entire company is now struggling under the weight of competency problems because everyone got promoted one tier above their pay grade.
And the genius of the Peter Principle, which we can see in any corporation, right? Any large corporation, is that it is natural because you're being promoted on your at least apparent well-earned results, right? You're being promoted, and so you must have some skill to get that promotion. So each step you're promoted a little bit higher because you've earned it. And then at a certain point, you get promoted to a position where you are incompetent, where you don't have the skills for that. You've been promoted, and then the point of the Peter Principle is no further advancement is possible. You're stuck there, ruining things for everybody. But you can't be promoted. Kathleen Kennedy, that's what going back to the beginning of the stream. No, Kathleen Kennedy will not be the head of the studio. Peter Principle rule. She fails to the level of her incompetence. She cannot go higher than that. She's now got the brand of incompetence on her, which is the end result of everyone in corporate world.
And in corporate world, it's really hard to get demoted sometimes too once you're in that corporate or officer class. So you can get an entire company of people that are one step above their pay grade, and the entire company will have systemic inefficiency. Whereas you move everyone down to the level that they were excelling, and the company is one of the greatest companies in the world. So I think we have this.
It's what I saw at Disney when I was at Tron. I was surrounded by people. I was like, "You don't know what you're doing. How did you get to this position? Oh, because you were good at something else." And now every one of you doesn't know what you're doing.
Right.
But there's something I want to show you guys to close out the stream because it's very interesting about Cameron talking about how Favreau is not a company man and you need a visionary in order to lead a division. I'm going to show you this picture. Mm-hmm. Who's standing next to Jon Favreau in the middle? And who was the guy on the right with the white shirt on and the dark jacket? I'm going to let you guys guess.
I probably should know who these people are, but I'm blanking.
The guy in the middle is John Lasseter.
Of course, John.
Oh.
The guy on the right is Ed Catmull, co-founder of Pixar.
Three visionaries. Three visionaries.
See, I knew you guys would get it in the chat, but I wouldn't.
What? When was that picture taken?
This was taken. That's a good point. Was it 2000 and?
This was
2004. Before they forced Lasseter out, because they threw him out, and you notice as soon as they threw out John Lasseter, Pixar went to the toilet.
Tanked.
And they have not come back at all.
Because again, the Peter Principle people have replaced him.
Right. Exactly correct. I love that concept. I've never heard it before. Now I can see it. I understand what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and the only way to break the Peter Principle is someone like a Favreau coming in and just, it's like a Genghis Khan movement where you just come in and you destroy Baghdad and you take the Caliph's throne. That's the only way you can do it, right?
Start over.
The system. You have to destroy the system. And in this case, what Favreau is wisely doing is he just worked his political relationships. So he's like, I don't have to be there every day. I don't have to be looking at spreadsheets. I don't have to be dealing with accounting problems. I don't have to be dealing with employee problems. But someone says, hey, we want to make this Rey movie. And I just call and say, we ain't going to be doing that. And I'm nobody on the letterhead. But I'm just going to make on now, we ain't going to be doing no Rey movie. We're going to do the Rey movie. Okay, I'm just going to call the board of Disney. Oh, I guess there's no Rey movie now, right? And that's the kind of informal power that is unstoppable.
Yeah, I think you guys hit that nail right on the head. Lorena, you were saying it. John Favreau's a pick up the phone and guy and get something done in a phone call. Filoni's more of a what do you need me to do and I'll get it done. And I don't know much about Lynwen Brennan. What's that?
Filoni's like, please date me. I remember seeing a presentation he did to I think like I don't know if it was like females in technology or something like that. I would have walked the hell out. It was so freaking degrading.
His statement.
He was just answering to Kathleen. He's like, "You're going to be Mr. Feminist Man." He's like, "Yes, boss. Whatever you need me to be. I'm Mr. Ray Feminist Man," and that's why he's now because he just swallowed it all. I mean, I met this man once, and I got that. I got his number. He's swallowing. He's just going to swallow it all, and he's going to outsmart all you guys and get to the head. And he's smart enough to know the Peter Principle. He knows he can't run this studio by himself.
Yeah,
they all know that. He knows that. And he also knows that he can't mess the waters. If there's other people that want to do stuff that he don't want to do, he's going to do what they want to do because that's how he's going to keep that job. He ain't going to be making stuff. So if you think Dave Filoni is going to ram his agenda now, he got no agenda. His agenda is surviving and keeping his job and advancing as far as he can without getting it. And now I'll tell you what his personal agenda is. I'm going to tell you what his agenda is. But even then, I don't think he's going to get it for a long time. His agenda, which he's made clear, he wants to be a feature filmmaker like Jon Favreau. He wants to direct one of these upcoming Star Wars Thrawn movies, and he ain't going to get it. He ain't going to get it because nobody's going to give a guy with one failed animation feature film a Star Wars movie. They ain't going to do it. They're going to say, you can keep making your TV shows, right? Maybe we can do a small movie, but you ain't going to be getting Thrawn, right? And you know what? He's going to be like, yes, boss, no problem.
Right. I agree with that. I think that's I think if he runs into adversity, I think he's very yielding. So I think he'll yield to pressures.
He don't fight nobody. He just surrenders.
Yeah. He's not that guy.
Right.
He's not that guy.
And that's why this dude is where he is. An animator, the co-head of a Disney studio, an animator. That's never happened.
That is
Walt Disney.
Not happening. You're not John Lasseter. Okay.
And he knows it. And he knows. That's the brilliance of why this guy's going to be around forever, right? Is that he understands the Peter Principle. He knows that if he goes too far, he's done. So he's never going to allow himself, his ego, to let him go too far. That's pretty brilliant.
I tell you, these shows always go longer than I intend.
Well,
but I love.
I haven't been engaging them right now, but I hope the chat's been enjoying it.
I hope so. It seems like there's lots of great feedback, and of course, Cameron and Doug back on the show, because one of the things that, and you guys have noticed the changes with the show starting off. I kind of like you either had all to myself or to myself and a couple of friends. Because the main thing of the show is I'm not about the terror drone, okay? I'm not about the, oh, this sucks, sucks, everything's going down, it's the end of the world as we know it. Not always.
Yeah.
Not
If
always.
something's bad, we say it's bad.
That, yeah, if it sucks,
we say it's good.
we're gonna tell you. You know,
but you have to know the difference.
Yeah, and it can't be from I just don't like the way the world is, so I'm just gonna say it's bad.
It's like, nah, that doesn't work. It's, you know, it's in the words of Andrew Breitbart, because I learned two things from him. You got to listen. You got to read Righteous Indignation. Oh my gosh, he was the first guy who put together the fact that, or he put it out there, communicated it. Politics is downstream from culture. Be a happy culture warrior. And if you can't sell freedom and liberty, you suck. He said that.
Well, I think some of the people who have claimed his baton don't actually believe in those things. And
no, they don't.
He'd be quite
That's
embarrassed
a principle
about his name.
Yeah, it would be like fire all of y'all. which is why I'm glad I got his book when he was alive, and I actually interacted with him on Twitter when he was alive to kind of see this was somebody who he had a passion for television and film and what pop culture could do. It is an actual tool, but if you're gonna sit, bitch, complain, it doesn't work. Yeah, eventually,
I actually think he liked this country more than other countries, which is always helpful.
Yeah.
Which is helpful. It's helpful if you want to be America first, actually be America first. But that's another time. That's a conversation for others.
And he lives in LA too, actually.
All right, we should probably wind down.
All right, we have to. Yes, we probably do. Let me start with Doug. Where can people find you, and what do you have going on, my dear?
Well, you can find me on my YouTube channel. I am not as consistent as I'm supposed to be based on the YouTube rules, but whenever I have something that really catches me and I'm really passionate about, I'll jump on there. And whoever wants to join me, a lot of time Cameron, or when she's available, Lorena, and we'll discuss some of these juicy topics. Also, you can find me on X as well, author Douglas A. Burton. I did just finish another book, so I'm working on getting that to publication. So I've got a couple pokers in the fire on projects that I'm excited about. So.
Well, amazing, folks. Please do. I know my amazing mods, I cannot do this show without them, has been dropping Doug's links in the chat, as well as the links to Cameron's Patreon. Cameron, what you got going on?
Well, I've got actually, mysteriously, I got a phone call. I got several phone calls during that. I kept stepping away. Some good things are happening in my life. Some really wonderful things professionally. And I really hope to be able to share on this channel, Doug's channel. Some breakthroughs happened in my life while I was on this thing. So there's some great things happening, but I can't talk about it right now because
awesome. Congratulations. That's great.
I got to close, sign contracts and close deals. But those were nice, surprising phone calls that just came in. So, but on the best way is reach out to me. If you want to more of my perspectives, and on my Patreon is the best way to do it. And I offer consulting there if you're a screenwriter or a novelist. I know Doug has taken advantage of that, and others have as well. And
happy customer,
and they like it. And recently my insider inside of Lucasfilm has actually become maybe a little too courageous, because now with Kennedy gone, they'll be like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like they've started doing Q&As with my community, and I'll be like, do I want to slow down some of this stuff, because I think that people are gonna figure out who you are, and I don't want. I even think when they figure out who you are, I think Filoni's gonna have to fire you. So let's slow down a little bit. Get a little too excited. Right? I'm like, let's slow. But then now you're getting a lot more insider information because they feel like the gun is off their head, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna manage this so I don't get you fired. Right. So my Patreon is a great way to find out about real stuff that's happening. And, because again, there is the speculation, there is the appearance of things. And then there's people like me who've done this for 25 years who really do have contacts that have proven themselves over several years of having real insider information. And we are in a new world. Not all of you think that we're in a new world or even want it to be a new world, but we are in a new world. And I do believe we will get consistently better stuff without this one step forward, two steps back garbage of the Kennedy era, right? And again, that'll be proven with time over the next year. I think we have this Darth Maul show that looks very good.
Looks great.
looks great. That looks exciting. And I think when Mando and Grogu will be an entertaining movie, and I think that's going to give people hope. I think Starfighter is going to be a fun movie, and we're going to have hope again. And I think if Lucasfilm can able to do 2 or 3 projects in a row that are just consistent without the step back with a garbage thing like an Acolyte, without a step back, without firing people for their political views, if we can get through a year of that with 2 or 3 projects, I think we can all breathe again. And I'd like you to give them that time to show you that 2 or 3 times in a row they can do good.
Be on the side of excellence.
Absolutely. Don't worry. Yes, I will definitely have Cameron and Doug back. Also, a couple of other friends to the channel plan to have on as well with the same attitude. We love film, we love television, we love media. We'll always be a straight shooter, with you guys. We're beholden to no one except our own opinions, which you can take or leave as you see fit. I will never tell you what you should watch, what you shouldn't watch, because that's none of my business. That's okay. None of my business whatsoever. As for your girl, of course, I do have a new gaming channel where I game when I can. So tomorrow's pretty much a double header. I'm gaming before work, playing Love and Deep Space because there's a new Husbando card that dropped, so I need to get that and play through with that. And then also in the evening, I will be playing Expedition 33. I've been waiting to try and play this game. So excited to play it. So that's what's going on then. And of course, Saturday watch party, we're going to be watching Shaolin Soccer, which is another Hong Kong style kung fu movie. If you loved Kung Fu Hustle, which is one of my personal favorites, you will love Shaolin Soccer. So we're going to be watching that on Saturday. And of course, Sunday, Welcome to Florida show. We're going to be cold again, but reading more crazy Florida stories. And maybe we'll get lucky and have another story from the county where my family's from. We shall see.
Wow.
We shall see. So you guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate that. Wait a minute. What did Bonzo Kilborn say? YouTube was better when Lorena Creole was between jobs.
That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. I hate to be.
Well, I'm hoping the stuff that happened on the live stream will make me less involved in YouTube, which won't be benefit, but it'll be benefit to my pocketbook.
Yes, and again, there is great film that is out there. It's not necessarily all from Hollywood, but there's a reason movies like this are so popular. So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please do make sure you like this stream, subscribe to both my panelists here on the panel. There will be videos and shorts that'll be clipped from this live stream, so please do make sure that you support those on the socials as well. Much love to all of you guys. You make this corner of YouTube such a fun place, and thanks to Cameron and Doug for hanging out with me. You guys are amazing. I will talk to you soon. Got to go give the cats their snacks. See y'all later.
All right, everyone. Let's tidy things up.
Autobots, start your engines!
Not under the rug.
We'll keep singing without fail, otherwise we'd spoil it.
Ready, Prime. Let's roll.
Hosing down the garbage pail and scrubbing up the toilet.
That's all, folks.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.